हम 51 वर्षों की एक शानदार यात्रा का उत्सव मना रहे हैं। ये यात्रा विज्ञान, सेवा और दृढ़ संकल्प की मिसाल रही है। 1974 में सीईएल की नींव रखी गई। एक बड़े लक्ष्य के साथ भारत की वैज्ञानिक सफलताओं को तकनीक में बदलकर राष्ट्र निर्माण में योगदान देना। भारत का पहला सौर फोटोवोल्टिक सेल, फेराइट्स, स्मार्ट रेलवे सिग्नलिंग सिस्टम और अत्याधुनिक रक्षा टेक्नोलॉजी, हर उपलब्धि ने सीईएल को विश्वसनीय नवाचार का प्रतीक बना दिया। इतिहास गवाह है सीईएल के गौरवशाली योगदान का। फिर भी एक दौर ऐसा भी आया जब वित्तीय दबाव, नीतिगत उलझने और घटते ऑर्डर सीईएल को विनिवेश के कगार पर ले आए। ऐसे मुश्किल समय में सीईएल के नेतृत्व ने साहसी और दूरदर्शी फैसले लिए। यहीं से शुरू हुई एक यात्रा पुनरुत्थान की। रणनीति सुधारों, मिशन मोड एक्शन और टेक्नोलॉजी इनोवेशन ने सीईएल को फिर से सशक्त किया। पिछले कुछ वर्षों में कंपनी ने उल्लेखनीय प्रगति की। वहीं कर पूर्व लाभ में भी हमने ऐतिहासिक प्रगति की है, जो कि 2019-20 में लगभग 6 करोड़ से बढ़कर लगभग 100 करोड़ हो चुका है, यानी 15.78 गुना की वृद्धि। लाभांश में भी लगभग 22 करोड़ का बड़ा उछाल देखने को मिला है, जो कि सीईएल में पहले नहीं दिया गया। ये परिवर्तन केवल आंकड़ों में नहीं है, ये हमारी टीम की मेहनत, प्रतिबद्धता और निरंतर सुधार के प्रयासों का सजीव प्रमाण है। वित्त वर्ष 2020-21 में माननीय मंत्री डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह के नेतृत्व में सीईएल ने पहली बार सरकार को 7.27 करोड़ का लाभांश दिया। ये एक ऐतिहासिक उपलब्धि थी। इस परिवर्तन के पीछे था मजबूत नेतृत्व, डीएसआईआर के सचिव, सीईएल के सीएमडी और देश की प्रतिष्ठित संस्थाओं डीआरडीओ, सीएसआईआर, बीईएल, रेलवे और डीएमआरसी का सहयोग। सीईएल ने राष्ट्रीय और वैश्विक स्तर पर अपनी पहचान को नए दृष्टिकोण और उच्चतर महत्व के साथ स्थापित किया। रक्षा क्षेत्र में सीईएल का योगदान अहम है। हमारा स्वदेशी फेज कंट्रोल मॉड्यूल आकाश मिसाइल सिस्टम में रडार की सटीकता को बढ़ाता है, जो भारत की सामरिक ताकत को मजबूत करता है। 26 जून 2024 एक ऐतिहासिक दिन। माननीय उपराष्ट्रपति ने स्वर्ण जयंती समारोह में सीईएल का दौरा किया।
I invited Mr. Jain to know more about your institute, this body. He passed on the buck, the total credit to the men in blue, the workforce, the human resource. What a turnaround you people have done. You reflect the rising glory of Bharat. Your development being cliff-hanging, disinvestment to such a great success is a role model for others.
और उसी दिन माननीय मंत्री डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह ने मिनी रत्न का प्रतिष्ठित दर्जा प्रदान किया। इससे सीईएल को मिली एक नई ऊंचाई, एक नई पहचान। इस सफलता के केंद्र में रहे इसके कर्मचारी, और प्रबंधन समर्पित। संकल्पित और सीईएल की विरासत को पुनर्जीवित करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध। साथ ही सीईएल के प्रतिष्ठित ग्राहक, विक्रेता और मंत्रालय के अधिकारीगण, जिनका निरंतर सहयोग इस पुनरुत्थान में अहम रहा। भारत की तकनीकी और आर्थिक प्रगति में सार्थक योगदान देने के लिए अपने रेलवे, रक्षा, इंटीग्रेटेड सॉल्यूशंस व्यवसायों के माध्यम से और नवीकरणीय ऊर्जा को बढ़ावा देती 200 मेगावाट की सौर मॉड्यूल विनिर्माण इकाई, डिजिटल शिक्षा को आगे बढ़ाती स्मार्ट बोर्ड विनिर्माण इकाई तथा एक ग्रीन फील्ड डेटा सेंटर जो सुरक्षित डिजिटल अवसंरचना का समर्थन करता है, के साथ सीईएल भविष्य की ओर कदम बढ़ा रहा है। सीईएल अपने आसपास के क्षेत्रों में रहने वाले लोगों के लिए स्वास्थ्य, कौशल विकास आदि के क्षेत्रों में महत्वपूर्ण योगदान देकर अपनी विभिन्न सीएसआर पहलों के तहत अपनी सामाजिक जिम्मेदारी का भी निर्वहन कर रहा है। सीईएल का रोड मैप मेक इन इंडिया, डिजिटल इंडिया और आत्मनिर्भर भारत जैसे राष्ट्रीय मिशनों के अनुरूप है। 51 साल की सेवा, आत्मबल और नवाचार के साथ सीईएल हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री के विकसित भारत के सपनों को साकार करने की ओर अग्रसर है।
सीईएल देश के लिए, देश के साथ बढ़ते कदम आगे रहे हम।
विज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी मंत्रालय के अंतर्गत काम करने वाली संस्था सेंट्रल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स लिमिटेड यानी सीईएल के स्वर्ण जयंती उत्सव काल के समापन समारोह में आपका हार्दिक स्वागत है। आज हम 51 वर्षों की एक शानदार यात्रा का उत्सव मना रहे हैं। ये यात्रा विज्ञान, सेवा और दृढ़ संकल्प की मिसाल रही है। 1974 में सीईएल की नींव रची गई, एक बड़े लक्ष्य के साथ भारत की वैज्ञानिक सफलताओं को तकनीक में बदलकर राष्ट्र निर्माण में योगदान देना। भारत का पहला सौर फोटोवोल्टिक सेल, फेराइट्स, स्मार्ट रेलवे सिग्नलिंग सिस्टम और अत्याधुनिक रक्षा टेक्नोलॉजी, हर उपलब्धि ने सीईएल को विश्वसनीय नवाचार का प्रतीक बना दिया। इतिहास गवाह है सीईएल के गौरवशाली योगदान का। फिर भी एक दौर ऐसा भी आया जब वित्तीय दबाव, नीतिगत उलझने और घटते ऑर्डर सीईएल को विनिवेश के कगार पर ले आए। ऐसे मुश्किल समय में सीईएल के नेतृत्व ने साहसी और दूरदर्शी फैसले लिए। यहीं से शुरू हुई एक यात्रा पुनरुत्थान की। रणनीति सुधारों, मिशन मोड एक्शन और टेक्नोलॉजी इनोवेशन ने सीईएल को फिर से सशक्त किया। पिछले कुछ वर्षों में कंपनी ने उल्लेखनीय प्रगति की। वहीं कर पूर्व लाभ में भी हमने ऐतिहासिक प्रगति की है, जो कि 2019-20 में लगभग 6 करोड़ से बढ़कर लगभग 100 करोड़ हो चुका है, यानी 15.78 गुना की वृद्धि। लाभांश में भी लगभग 22 करोड़ का बड़ा उछाल देखने को मिला है, जो कि सीईएल में पहले नहीं दिया गया। ये परिवर्तन केवल आंकड़ों में नहीं है, ये हमारी टीम की मेहनत, प्रतिबद्धता और निरंतर सुधार के प्रयासों का सजीव प्रमाण है। वित्त वर्ष 2020-21 में माननीय मंत्री डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह के नेतृत्व में सीईएल ने पहली बार सरकार को 7.27 करोड़ का लाभांश दिया। ये एक ऐतिहासिक उपलब्धि थी। इस परिवर्तन के पीछे था मजबूत नेतृत्व, डीएसआईआर के सचिव, सीईएल के सीएमडी और देश की प्रतिष्ठित संस्थाओं डीआरडीओ, सीएसआईआर, बीईएल, रेलवे और डीएमआरसी का सहयोग। सीईएल ने राष्ट्रीय और वैश्विक स्तर पर अपनी पहचान को नए दृष्टिकोण और उच्चतर महत्व के साथ स्थापित किया। रक्षा क्षेत्र में सीईएल का योगदान अहम है। हमारा स्वदेशी फेज कंट्रोल मॉड्यूल आकाश मिसाइल सिस्टम में रडार की सटीकता को बढ़ाता है, जो भारत की सामरिक ताकत को मजबूत करता है। 26 जून 2024 एक ऐतिहासिक दिन। माननीय उपराष्ट्रपति ने स्वर्ण जयंती समारोह में सीईएल का दौरा किया।
I invited Mr. Jain to know more about your institute, this body. He passed on the buck, the total credit to the man in blue, the workforce, the human resource. What a turnaround you people have done. You reflect the rising glory of Bharat. Your development being cliff-hanging disinvestment to such a great success is a role model for others.
और उसी दिन माननीय मंत्री डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह ने मिनी रत्न का प्रतिष्ठित दर्जा प्रदान किया। इससे सीईएल को मिली एक नई ऊंचाई, एक नई पहचान। इस सफलता के केंद्र में रहे इसके कर्मचारी और प्रबंधन, समर्पित, संकल्पित और सीईएल की विरासत को पुनर्जीवित करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध। साथ ही सीईएल के प्रतिष्ठित ग्राहक, विक्रेता और मंत्रालय के अधिकारीगण, जिनका निरंतर सहयोग इस पुनरुत्थान में अहम रहा। भारत की तकनीकी और आर्थिक प्रगति में सार्थक योगदान देने के लिए अपने रेलवे, रक्षा, इंटीग्रेटेड सॉल्यूशंस व्यवसायों के माध्यम से और नवीकरणीय ऊर्जा को बढ़ावा देती 200 मेगावाट की सौर मॉड्यूल विनिर्माण इकाई, डिजिटल शिक्षा को आगे बढ़ाती स्मार्ट बोर्ड विनिर्माण इकाई तथा एक ग्रीन फील्ड डेटा सेंटर जो सुरक्षित डिजिटल अवसंरचना का समर्थन करता है, के साथ सीईएल भविष्य की ओर कदम बढ़ा रहा है। सीईएल अपने आसपास के क्षेत्रों में रहने वाले लोगों के लिए स्वास्थ्य, कौशल विकास आदि के क्षेत्रों में महत्वपूर्ण योगदान देकर अपनी विभिन्न सीएसआर पहलों के तहत अपनी सामाजिक जिम्मेदारी का भी निर्वहन कर रहा है। सीईएल का रोड मैप मेक इन इंडिया, डिजिटल इंडिया और आत्मनिर्भर भारत जैसे राष्ट्रीय मिशनों के अनुरूप है। 51 साल की सेवा, आत्मबल और नवाचार के साथ सीईएल हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री के विकसित भारत के सपनों को साकार करने की ओर अग्रसर है।
सीईएल देश के लिए, देश के साथ बढ़ते कदम आगे रहे हम।
विज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी मंत्रालय के अंतर्गत काम करने वाली संस्था सेंट्रल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स लिमिटेड यानी सीईएल के स्वर्ण जयंती उत्सव काल के समापन समारोह में आपका हार्दिक स्वागत है। आज हम 51 वर्षों की एक शानदार यात्रा का उत्सव मना रहे हैं। ये यात्रा विज्ञान, सेवा और दृढ़ संकल्प की मिसाल रही है। 1974 में सीईएल की नींव रची गई, एक बड़े लक्ष्य के साथ भारत की वैज्ञानिक सफलताओं को तकनीक में बदलकर राष्ट्र निर्माण में योगदान देना। भारत का पहला सौर फोटोवोल्टिक सेल, फेराइट्स, स्मार्ट रेलवे सिग्नलिंग सिस्टम और अत्याधुनिक रक्षा टेक्नोलॉजी, हर उपलब्धि ने सीईएल को विश्वसनीय नवाचार का प्रतीक बना दिया। इतिहास गवाह है सीईएल के गौरवशाली योगदान का। फिर भी एक दौर ऐसा भी आया जब वित्तीय दबाव, नीतिगत उलझने और घटते ऑर्डर सीईएल को विनिवेश के कगार पर ले आए। ऐसे मुश्किल समय में सीईएल के नेतृत्व ने साहसी और दूरदर्शी फैसले लिए। यहीं से शुरू हुई एक यात्रा पुनरुत्थान की। रणनीति सुधारों, मिशन मोड एक्शन और टेक्नोलॉजी इनोवेशन ने सीईएल को फिर से सशक्त किया। पिछले कुछ वर्षों में कंपनी ने उल्लेखनीय प्रगति की। वहीं कर पूर्व लाभ में भी हमने ऐतिहासिक प्रगति की है, जो कि 2019-20 में लगभग 6 करोड़ से बढ़कर लगभग 100 करोड़ हो चुका है, यानी 15.78 गुना की वृद्धि। लाभांश में भी लगभग 22 करोड़ का बड़ा उछाल देखने को मिला है, जो कि सीईएल में पहले नहीं दिया गया। ये परिवर्तन केवल आंकड़ों में नहीं है, ये हमारी टीम की मेहनत, प्रतिबद्धता और निरंतर सुधार के प्रयासों का सजीव प्रमाण है। वित्त वर्ष 2020-21 में माननीय मंत्री डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह के नेतृत्व में सीईएल ने पहली बार सरकार को 7.27 करोड़ का लाभांश दिया। ये एक ऐतिहासिक उपलब्धि थी। इस परिवर्तन के पीछे था मजबूत नेतृत्व, डीएसआईआर के सचिव, CEL के CND और देश की प्रतिष्ठित संस्थाओं DRDO, CSIR, BEL, रेलवे और DMRC का सहयोग। CEL ने राष्ट्रीय और वैश्विक स्तर पर अपनी पहचान को नए दृष्टिकोण और उच्चतर महत्व के साथ स्थापित किया। रक्षा क्षेत्र में CEL का योगदान अहम है। हमारा स्वदेशी फेज कंट्रोल मॉड्यूल आकाश मिसाइल सिस्टम में रडार की सटीकता को बढ़ाता है, जो भारत की सामरिक ताकत को मजबूत करता है। 26 जून 2024 एक ऐतिहासिक दिन। माननीय उपराष्ट्रपति ने स्वर्ण जयंती समारोह में CEL का दौरा किया।
I invited Mr. Jain to know more about your institute, this body. He passed on the buck, the total credit to the men in blue, the workforce, the human resource. What a
Good morning, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this exciting and thought-provoking session titled Mind and Machine Unlocking the Power Within. Today marks a special occasion for all of us at CL as we host a session of this kind for the very first time. One that promises to explore the fascinating intersection of human potential and technological innovation. I extend warm and heartfelt welcome to two distinguished gentlemen, Shri Vivek Prakash Tripathi and Shri Sukant Kaul, who have taken time from their busy schedule to grace us with their presence today. A very special welcome to CMD Sir's family, Garima ma'am, Neha, Shruti, Vivek Sir's family, Anuja ma'am, Adi, Tane, the extended CL family, our respected seniors, and my dear colleagues. Thank you all for being here. I'm sure when I speak here, I speak for everyone when I say that there's a sense of curiosity and excitement in the air. We are all eager to dive into the insights and inspiration this session has in store. Before we begin, I would request CMD Sir to kindly felicitate our guests for today. Now I invite Shri Chetan Prakash Jain, CMD CL, to deliver his inaugural address.
Ladies and gentlemen, kids, and my dear colleagues, it is a privilege to stand before you today as we open a unique and powerful set of events designed not just to showcase talent or share knowledge, but to inspire us to think differently, aim higher, and perform better. We begin with an extraordinary feat, solving 20 Rubik cubes blindfolded. On the surface, it's a display of memory and dexterity, but at its core, it is a celebration of what human potential can achieve with focus, practice, and relentless discipline. This is the same spirit we need in our organization, CEL, to solve complex problems with clarity, to push limits, and to never settle for mediocrity. Following this, we turn our attention to a frontier that is redefining every industry: artificial intelligence. Tools like ChatGPT and other AI tools are not just trends, they are transformational. When embraced thoughtfully, they can make our work faster, smarter, and more precise. As a PSU, we must not only adapt, we must lead. We must show how public sector organizations can be both rooted in values and be agile in innovations. Today's events are symbolic. One represents the power of human mind, the other, the power of human created intelligence. Both demand practice, discipline, and the courage to challenge the status quo. Both represent what is possible when we move from comfort zones to learning zones. Let us take inspiration from both, because the future of our PSU will be shaped not by external circumstances, but by the mindset we choose to carry forward, one of excellence, adaptability, and pride in public service. Let us think boldly, act decisively, and lead responsibly. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce a truly exceptional young individual who is with us today. He is the son of one of the most respected and senior colleague, someone whose contribution to the organization are deeply valued. And the young man we are about to witness today is a testament to that legacy of excellence. An extraordinary talent in the world of Rubik cube solving, he possesses a level of skill that must be seen to be believed. Whether it is solving the cube at lightning speed or doing so blindfolded, he has consistently amazed audience and judges alike. Having won hundreds of competitions and earned thousands of medals, his achievements in this domain are simply phenomenal. Now a successful professional in the service sector, he continues to inspire with his discipline, passion, and precision. We are privileged to have him with us on the CL campus today. Please join me in welcoming him with a round of applause as we prepare to witness something truly special. It's a sincere request to everyone to please maintain silence and have this amazing experience.
Please keep your phones on silent mode.
patient to Shishukant Paul. I would request Shishukant Kaul to share his remarkable journey and experience in this fascinating world of Rubik cube solving.
He did it in less than 10 minutes, guys.
Hello. So I started about 12 years ago, I think. I started doing blind solving in 2015. From there, it was a fairly natural progression to solving more than one cube, and I mean now it's 12 years later. So it's not as hard as it looks. It's a very learnable skill. Yeah, I know. People beyond a certain age generally react that way. But no, I think it is an ingrained belief that beyond a certain age it's hard to learn things, which is why you get reactions like this. But it's actually a very learnable skill. Like I know people who are older than my mother who can solve cubes blindfolded, and they learned beyond at the age of like 50, 55. And it's because the thing is, it's not really something that depends on age. It is learning memory techniques. And yeah, I have a decent memory, but I don't have a solve 20 cubes blindfolded memory. It's a thing you can train. It's memory techniques you can learn, and stuff like this actually I think is very beneficial because it helps your creativity. Because the way you memorize a large amount of information can be generalized to memorizing like regular anything really. So it doesn't have to be Rubik's cubes. The way you solve a cube blindfolded is you encode the scramble into a series of letters. So every sticker on the cube has a letter assigned to it, and then based on where the pieces are supposed to go, you end up with a series of letters, which is what I'm actually memorizing. So in my head, I'm not seeing that this piece going here. I'm seeing these pairs of letters. So you take all those letters, you take them two at a time, use them to make words, and then those words make stories. So in my head, there are like every cube has like there's a fantastical story attached with every cube. There's like an owl god with a nuke throwing it on a raja and stuff like that. So that is how every cube gets encoded. So in my opinion, at least it is very beneficial in terms of your creativity. And yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, the general method can be generalized to learning pretty much anything. Which is why if you ever Google the World Memory Championships, where people memorize cards or memorize numbers, they're using the same technique that I used to memorize these cubes. Yeah, that's what.
I think you can just add, like, for the general public who have students, children studying in class 10. So I remember I asked him how he remembered the huge voluminous SST. So he actually told me just that line, that it's something called a memory panels. Maybe you can just say a word or so. It'll help the parents who will be struggling with their children not able to memorize SST. So something like that, I think that concept is there.
So how did you realize that you can actually do this, memorize this? How did you find it out?
No, so I saw when I picked up cubing, the world record for solving. I saw the world record for solving a cube blindfolded had just been broken, so it had been lowered to just under 30 seconds for the first time. So I was very inspired by that. I wanted to learn, so I learned to solve one cube, and from there it's not that hard to learn more.
So you just want to show the other ones? Sure. There are a lot of other which don't look like cubes, so I just requested you to just if you can just break it down here. It's like a cube, but it's not. Something called a Rubik's clock.
You want to try?
So there are official competitions. So there are official competitions that are held under the aegis of a World Cube Association, which governs all competitions of this nature. And so there are 17 different events that are held at those competitions. What you saw, the first one is called multiple blindfolded. That's one of them. This is another one of them. It's called a square one. So this looks like a cube, except it can change shape. So there's a lot of variety in the world of Rubik's cubes. This is called a pyraminx. It's generally, if you have children who want to get into cubing, a pyraminx or a 2x2 or a 3x3 are generally what they choose to get good at. These are events that are very popular with children because they're fairly simplistic to learn for the first time. So the barrier to entry is quite low. But getting good at them requires a lot of practice and a lot of high turning dexterity, which are things that are generally quite popular with children. For example, a lot of the world records for those smaller puzzles like 2x2 or pyraminx are generally held by children that are quite young, like 11 to 12 years of age. Because at that age, you have extremely high, I mean, of course, you have free time more than everyone else, but you also have extremely high turning dexterity. So, for example, I can't turn a cube anywhere near as fast as some of the 11, 12-year-olds can. And this, so cubic puzzles go up to this. This is a 7x7 puzzle. So, I'm not going to solve this now. It'll take too long. But yeah, so these are some of the events that are held in competition. So this is a 4x4 cube. And this is slightly different. This is called a Rubik's clock. So this is the solid state, what you're looking at, when all of them point to 12 and can be scrambled. The Rubik's clock is actually fascinating because so this is scrambled. For the most part, what you do is you solve some of the pieces on one side of the clock, then you turn it over. And this was a method followed for many years until some math people got involved. So this is, you solve both sides. So then some math people got involved and realized that normally, this is what a clock looks like. If I put this pin up, this is going to move all of these. But if I turn any of the other dials, these inner ones won't move. What people realized was, when I'm turning this, I'm also turning the back. So what some very clever university students realized was, you can represent every one of these as a solution to an equation with 7 variables. And that gives you a system of 14 equations. And then they plugged it into Python, found a numerical solution for that, and came up with a generalized method to solve this clock without having to turn the other side. So yeah, that was some application of mathematics. But yeah, this is generally a variety of the puzzles that are found in Rubik's Cube competitions. So it goes from 2x2 to 7x7, 3x3, 3x3 one-handed, 3x3 blindfolded, 3x3 multiple blindfolded, and all of these puzzles. Yeah, that is a general introduction to the world of Rubik's Cubes.
You have robots and AI already.
So there are cube solving robots that have been made. The most popular ones are the 3x3 ones because that's the most popular one. And the 3x3 robots can solve a cube in like under half a second. So the thing is, a lot of scientists at Google worked on it's something called the God's number, which is basically if God was solving a Rubik's Cube, what is the number of moves he's going to take? If you give God the worst possible scramble, how long it will take him to solve the cube? And they came up with the answer was 20 moves. It took a lot of computation, a lot of supercomputers working on it. But there is no scramble that can take more than 20 moves to solve. If you do it, if you're God, basically. If you're a computer, if you do it optimally, it only takes 20 moves. Now, of course, we're not computers or God. So generally, people that are solving the Rubik's Cube take about 50 to 60 moves. The blindfolded method, where you saw me, if you were paying attention, you would have seen that all the corners got solved and then all the edges got solved. You solve it piece by piece, and that takes 80 to 100 to even 150 moves sometimes. So what those computers do is they basically use this optimal algorithm because they're computers and they have like a high degree of computational power. They use the optimal algorithms to find out the shortest possible solution, and then because they plug a mechanical arm into each center of the cube to turn it. And because they have 6 arms, they can turn basically all 6 faces at the same time. So that's how they solve it in under like half a second, basically. But for the other events, cube solving robots haven't really been a thing. Like a 4x4, there is a robot, but it takes about a minute, which is significantly, like I can do it faster than that, which is like significantly slower than like human potential at least, because the world record is currently into 20 seconds.
What's your fastest time on this 4x4?
4x4, I have about 28.
What's your fastest time on blindfolding one cube?
In competition, I have a 19, which is I think 3rd in India. and I have a mean of 3 solves, which is 22 in the current average. So that includes the time to look at the cube. So generally, blindfolded solves are done by, you get a scramble that's covered up, you start your timer, you start looking at the cube, you put a blindfold down and then you solve it. And you get 3 attempts to do it. So I currently have the national record for the average of those 3 attempts, which I got a 22.49 mean of 3 solves.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we have just witnessed is a remarkable testament to the untapped potential of human mind, disciplined, focused, and indefinitely capable. On behalf of CL, we extend our heartfelt thanks to Shri Sukant Kaul for inspiring us with his extraordinary abilities. He has not only demonstrated what the human mind is capable of, but has reminded us that excellence is always a function of effort, practice, and passion. Thank you for gracing us and leaving us with moments we will remember for a long time. Give a huge round of applause for Sukant. We now move from a striking display of cognitive resilience to reflective and forward-looking discussion on the journey of intelligence from human mind to artificial system. As we now shift from mind to machine, it is my privilege to invite distinguished civil servant and thought leader to take us through the next segment of today's session, Evolving Intelligence, Human to Artificial. Shri Vivek Prakash Tripathi is an officer of the Indian Railways Account Service, Civil Service Batch of 1998, a graduate in Science and Law from the University of Delhi, and an MBA from a prestigious Faculty of Management Studies. He brings with him an exceptional academic and professional pedigree. He is currently serving as Director Finance at National High Speed Rail Corporation, the implementing agency for India's first high-speed rail corridor between Ahmedabad and Mumbai. With over 2 decades of service across the Ministry of Railways and NHRCL, Shri Tripathi has developed deep and diverse expertise in strategic finance, government and corporate accounting, infrastructure funding, large-scale IT systems, procurement, data analytics, and human resource management. His career exemplifies the kind of evolving, multidimensional intelligence that the future demands, from public policy to advanced technology. We are truly honored to have him with us today. But beyond these formidable credentials, allow me to share something more personal and deeply meaningful to us here at CL. Shri Tripathi shares a lifelong and profound friendship with our CMD Sir. The bond is not just professional or personal, it is foundational. Shri Tripathi is one of the rare few who enjoys the unwavering trust and affection of Shri Jain's entire family. In fact, he is one described as not figuratively but literally as being on their collective speed dial. Interesting, even the name reflects a symbolic alignment. Vivek stands for wisdom and discernment, while Chetan signifies consciousness and awareness. And both carry the suffix Prakash, meaning light. Together, they represent the perfect confluence of enlightened thought and conscious leadership, principles that continue to guide CL's journey today. It is thus with great pride and sense of personal warmth, we now invite Shri Vivek Prakash Tripathi to deliver his address on evolving intelligence, human to artificial. Please join me in welcoming him for a resounding round of applause.
Thank you for inviting me to CEL. It's indeed a privilege to be here. Now that the story has broken about me and your MD, I thought I will keep it under wraps, but somehow there are different plans. I know him for as many years as of my working life, perhaps more than that. I know him since he was in hostel and still trying to be what he is today. And those were the days when he was head of Students' Union, or at least the most vocal one. And my brother happened to be the warden of his hostel where he was staying. So I always used to get complaints that Chetan speaks a lot in the meetings. And he would always voice his concerns very forcefully often. And then I got to know him, we got posted together, then a general friendship developed, and I can say without any doubt that if he's the friend, philosopher, guide and mentor that perhaps I always cherish more than most. And but that was a personal equation. I am truly fond of what he has accomplished here. In fact, I must congratulate him first because I haven't formally congratulated him and CEL team for doing so wonderfully well in last 2 to 3 years. And you had some great visitors here, Vice President nonetheless, then Chief Minister of UP, and some of the business transformations that you are doing about the solar and building a data center, much of what I'm going to talk today about, the role of data centers and other things. And it's truly a matter of pride that the company was about to be sold off to a private bidder for a price has now been resurrected because of your effort. So I think all of you, including your MD, must take pride in this blue shirt that you are wearing. It must fill your heart with pleasure to do this, what you have done, and that is what the potential of human mind is. And what we saw Sukant do today, even though he made a very light matter of it, that it's a learnable skill. But imagine what he was doing. He had certain sequence in his mind. His brain was telling his fingers to do something. He had conceptualized what each cube in a sequence is going to be. Then his neural cortex was giving a message to his musculature that this thing has to move in a certain order. His memory was, unwrapping layer by layer by layer. That's the beauty of human intelligence. Even though he said that's a learnable skill, it is not a very learnable skill after a certain age, or even if you are young, if you're not inclined for it. So it is just not human intelligence which is important. It is your own willingness, your own abilities, your own desire, your own hunger, which will make you do things. However, from the journey what Sukant has shown, which is truly magnificent. In fact, if you saw the video, my mouth was wide open that how he can do this. I can't solve one side of a Rubik's Cube, forget about solving the full one. And that's the power of human mind. However, in the next about 50 minutes, allow me to take you on a journey from human evolution to a machine evolution, and how we have started making a shift about how we are going to think of our work, our organizations, our societies, and we as individuals. Allow me to take you on a small journey, and this journey begins much before any of us in this room were born, or even our predecessors. The search and the understanding of human intelligence is not new. It started way back. I think the first known text which is known where human mind and human intelligence was sought to be decoded was in 1904 by a person called Galton. And he started studying how to measure human intelligence, because what cannot be measured, cannot be monitored, cannot be excelled at. And that's why you must see that your MD demands a lot of MIS information, because what cannot be measured cannot be monitored. So Galton in 1904 started measuring human intelligence, that how can we measure intelligence and what exactly is intelligence. And then a lot of things happened. However, it was Binet who was, I think, teaching in Stanford for a while and did some work for the French army. And he started coming up with certain kind of formula that if I measure your ability to solve a certain problem in certain number of time, what Sukant did with certain amount of memory under consideration and your some sort of ability, I will be able to measure you whether you are intelligent or not. So Binet made out a scale, and he said that if we measure somebody on this, give him a certain amount of time, ask him to solve certain problems, then perhaps we can call him intelligent. And then the Stanford Binet's IQ scale, what we have come to know now, is a very famous IQ scale which was used worldwide. And this was a amazing discovery by Binet, and then it became a very standardized test. However, we always think intelligence as very, very human, that's innate to human and animals, but it's not so. In fact, there is a lady called Simard, who gave a very, very famous U talk and published in 1997 a paper in Nature, where she emphasized and proved that it is not only humans which have intelligence. And in the Canadian forest, she did a study that it's the entire forest which pass information to one tree to another. And that's why this famous African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. It's everyone who has to get involved, and it is not only in humankind, but also in forests that we see this kind of information being passed. In fact, Simrat showed that if one tree dies, it passes off all its nutrient to the other tree so that it can grow. If you have seen the canopy of a forest from the top, if you look at the satellite images, they compete for the sun. But yet, their foliages never destroy the other foliages. They crisscross. They find a way to reach the sun. And it is that kind of intelligence which was established by Simone when she studied about forest in Canada. And she said that they, through the mycorrhizal organic structures, pass a lot of nutrient information to these trees. And that's how these trees are able to grow. Even if one tree dies, it passes off this information to the next tree, the other tree to the next, and to the next. And that's why the whole forest is alive. And there truly they function as a society. Is it not intelligence? Is it not something which we can just wonder how this happens? There's a famous Bose experiment by an Indian botanist who settled in America, that if you play music to a particular kind of trees, they grow very well. Or if you play music to, say, a group of animals or sheep, the wool quality improves. The milk production, the milk nutrient quality increases. This is all intelligence. And this is what Simone showed, that even forests have intelligence, even trees have intelligence. And this again kind of makes us think whether intelligence is just what Binet classifies as reading, writing, and mathematics. Intelligence in the famous Jane Goodall, the famous evolutionary biologist who works in the jungle of Tanzania, and she has extensively worked with chimpanzees. In fact, you would have seen very famous National Geographic documentary on the subject. Jane Goodall worked with a particular chimpanzee called Dr. David Greybeard. And this is the original photo of Dr. Jane Goodall with Dr. Greybeard. But in 1967, when she was working with Dr. Greybeard, she named this chimpanzee David Greybeard because it was the first chimp as a child who came running to her when she entered the park. And therefore, they developed a natural affection. He was called Greybeard because he had a grey kind of beard, and therefore they developed a lifelong relation. In fact, when she quit her job to train, to work with the chimps, there was a huge documentary made by National Geographic, which I think earned some kind of award, Emmy or something. Very famous. You must watch it on YouTube and everywhere else. And one day, while working with Greybeard in Tanzania, she saw Greybeard strip a stick of its leaf, put it in a termite hole, pick out the termites and eat it. And there she realized that it is a very, very different kind of intelligence that we are talking about. It is just not human. Dr. David Greybeard was never trained on it. He never saw anybody do it. And yet, his instinct told him that he will be able to put a stick in a termite mound, pick out certain insects, and eat it. And that's where a lot of debate happened about intelligence, our understanding of intelligence, our notion of intelligence, how we think about intelligence. And then in 1983, it was Dr. Howard Gardner who published a paper called Frames of Mind. It was not a paper exactly, it was a book. He called it Frames of Mind. And he has always questioned that whether the intelligence that we traditionally associate of reading, writing, mathematics, spatio-visual, whether it is actually intelligence, or if I am doing a Bharatnatyam, as today her daughter missed that performance. We were asked to perform a Kathak. Whether Kathak is not, doing Kathak, is it not intelligence? Or whether a sportsman or Mr. Neeraj Chopra throwing a javelin at 82 meters, is it not intelligence? If I am able to talk to you and able to make friends with you, is it not intelligence? If I am able to function as a group, if CL has been able to accomplish what they have been able to accomplish in last 2 to 3 years, is it not intelligence? Is it not collective intelligence? And Howard Gardner was constantly battling with this idea that we are defining intelligence as too narrow. Intelligence cannot be this narrow. It has to be widened, its areas has to be widened. And therefore he came with 8 intelligences, जिसमें visuospatial, linguistic, artistic, kinetic. If I'm playing, I'm dancing, I'm moving my body, I'm intelligent. एक कुम्हार जो घड़ा बनाता है, क्या वो intelligent नहीं है? एक बनारस में जो वीवर बनारसी साड़ी बनाता है, क्या वो intelligent नहीं है? क्या हमारी जो intelligence की definition है, वही एक प्रमाण है हमारे intelligent होने का? या जो बुनकर तिरुपुर में आपके लिए बेनेटन की शर्ट्स और अरविंद मिल्स की शर्ट्स बना रहा है, क्या वो इंटेलिजेंट नहीं है? सो हमें इस पूरे जो हमारा ये परिवेश है इसको देखना होगा कि हमें इंटेलिजेंस हम किस तरह से डिफाइन करते हैं। ये ज़रूरी तो नहीं कि जो अच्छा मैथमेटिक्स करे वही इंटेलिजेंट हो या जो अच्छा रीडिंग करे वही इंटेलिजेंट हो, ऐसा तो नहीं है। और इसको काफ़ी हॉवर्ड गार्डनर ने काफ़ी क्वेश्चन किया और उसके बाद इस पर काफ़ी बहस भी हुई, क्योंकि एक ट्रेडिशनल सिस्टम को हिलाया गया था और इस पर काफ़ी चर्चा हुई, लोगों ने काफ़ी सवाल पूछे और काफ़ी इस पर विचार हुआ कि क्या इंटेलिजेंस को हम फिर से डिफाइन कर सकते हैं। एंड दैट्स वेयर द क्वेश्चन इज, एंड नॉर्मली इट्स अ वेरी फेमस लास्ट लाइन ऑफ पॉइंट ऑफ माय स्लाइड इज, हु इज मोर इंटेलिजेंट, न्यूटन, गांधी और योर ग्रैंडमदर? आई वुड ऑलवेज से माय ग्रैंडमदर। हर इंटेलिजेंस इज समथिंग व्हिच इज neither you can define nor I define, but this is how intelligent she was, or that's the normal question. So you cannot actually make human intelligence to some kind of boundaries. ये इंटेलिजेंट है, वो इंटेलिजेंट नहीं है, क्योंकि सबके पास अपनी एक इंटेलिजेंस। अगर कोई आदमी इस दुनिया में फंक्शन कर रहा है तो वो इंटेलिजेंट है। वो आपके मापदंड पे शायद उतना खरा ना उतरे इंटेलिजेंस के लिए, लेकिन वो है इंटेलिजेंट। मैं बार बार रूबिक्स क्यूब के प्रॉब्लम पे आता हूँ, मिस्टर कॉल। इमेजिन व्हाट हिज माइंड वाज डूइंग, and I was truly amazed. In fact, when Mr. Jain told me that we are going to do this, and I said that let me see, I was still wondering whether ऐसा हो भी सकता है कि नहीं। No, as bureaucrats, you become very cynical कि ऐसा होगा कि नहीं, देखते हैं। You always keep a distance away from the actual event and see. But I was really amazed and surprised that whether it's actually doable, and how can a sequence of event. Though I heard about it, I know that people do, but somebody would actually do it today. I was a little slightly apprehensive. But imagine what his mind was doing. So many neural connections were formed, so many chemicals must have kicked in his mind. He put on a headphone so that he doesn't get distracted, because there are certain thought patterns which he has to engage with, certain ideas, certain memory patterns he has to engage with. And yet he was able to kind of compartmentalize, solve a cube. His paper was falling off, he was putting on the paper again back and still solving, so coming back. So imagine what kind of compartmentalization his mind was going through, and that's the beauty of our mind. And that's what has amazed people from time and again, that how human mind can actually adapt, what is called the plasticity of the human mind, how it can change, how it can reform itself. And that's where the term human potential comes. That वो एक हम लोग के कहा गया है ना कि हम ब्रह्मास्मि त्वं तत्, मतलब मैं, हमारे अंदर ब्रह्म है, इस तरह आपके अंदर भी है। So that's where this entire concept of human potential comes, by looking at our human mind. And human mind, when you go towards a more classical definition, how human mind functions, there are a lot of theories about it that should be able to retain information, process, pattern recognition, spatial awareness, all that forms part of human intelligence. However, this talk is not about human intelligence. It is about evolution from human to AI. and it is your own human mind which is creating an artificial set of structures now so that you can exceed your own mind. In fact, there are scientists in Berkeley which has called that Google is your additional memory. So you need not remember everything now. You should work on more creative tasks because there's a Google for you. It will remember for you. You can seek information with the kind of internet speeds that we are going through and the kind of internet that we are heading so fast on your device, on your watch, now on your glasses too. You can instantly call for information, so you need not remember information. So that's the capacity which everyone is trying to build, how to augment this mind. And that is the journey which perhaps we should be doing today as to what human mind will take in where else. It has taken our Shuklaji into space. We'll be returning on 14th. Imagine us 5 feet 2, 5 feet 3, 5 feet 7 kind of people with about 200, 250 grams of brain going to other galaxies, other bodies, traveling through space, traveling, navigating satellites, navigating boundaries, going across oceans, looking for other kind of life signs. If this is not human potential, what is? And that's where the human mind will take you to the next journey of your generation. And I think we are in a very, very unique position, unique place in history, where we have witnessed color television and where we witnessed actual revolution of AI. I think by 1982, when the first Asiad happened here in India, 1983, we all must have been born. Some of you may not be. But that's when the color television came. And that's the kind of movement we are seeing in this generation, how it will transform. And this journey has not begun today, tomorrow with coming of ChatGPT. I think I wanted to start with Alan Turing, but my son told me that you have to go back and look at Ada Lovelace. She was the first computer programmer, and I actually did not know. And I actually checked up Ada Lovelace. She was daughter of Lord Byron, the famous English poet. Lord Byron poems are very well known. They are taught in our schools and class. You may go and check your class 6th or 7th books. It will still be there, some of the Lord Byron's poem. And Ada Lovelace was daughter of Lord Byron. And she was very, very bright. And she was given a text to be translated. And when she looked at the text, she thought that, can I make a logic or algorithm out of it so that some machine can translate it? And that's where the first concept of algorithms emerged. And that's where the Babbage computers, what is called as a Babbage computer, mechanical computers, they came into existence. And she is known as the first programmer of humankind. Then there's a very, very famous name of Claude Shannon. Claude Shannon is the one who gave us a binary, 0 and 1. When you look at computer programs, normally people say that you think in binary, or don't think in binary, or this cannot be a binary argument, because it cannot be a 0 or a 1 argument. So he gave what is called as a logic gate, that you can actually convert everything down to zeros and 1, and which any machine would be able to read. And that's how that we all know has left a significant impact on our lives, how we look at everything in computer language as 0 and 1. And that was Claude Shannon. But the biggest breakthrough, according to me, from where I wanted to start, but for my son, Alan Turing. I hope you have all watched the film called The Imitation Game. It's a film on Netflix, on many other platforms. Do watch it. Alan Turing was a very, very famous scientist, part mathematician, part statistician. And he is the one who actually made a mechanical computer. And he is the one responsible, many people say responsible for stopping World War II. Because what used to happen is that the German forces were really strong. And the German forces had a boat called U-boat. And the U-boat will bomb the Allied forces' ships. And even though they were catching the messages from one German ship to another, one German bomber to another, the cryptic messages, but they couldn't decode. वो पढ़ नहीं पाते थे कि एक जर्मन एयरफोर्स का पायलट दूसरे जर्मन एयरफोर्स के पायलट से क्या कह रहा है. Even though they were sharing location, they were sharing time, they were sharing the kind of bombs that are going to be dropped, पर वो लोग डिकोड नहीं कर पा रहे थे और हर शाम को वो मार खाते थे. And then Alan Turing said that I think I have a solution to this problem. And he kind of devised a mechanical structure where information would be fed and the gears of the machine would move and arrive at a code. And Germans had devised something called as an enigma machine. उससे जो अलाइड फोर्सेस थे वो इतना घबरा गए थे उस कोड से कि उन्होंने उस मशीन का नाम जिससे जर्मन ट्रांसमिट करते उसका नाम एनिग्मा मशीन रखा था. एनिग्मा मींस something which you cannot know. No, normally people say that you are a very enigmatic person or he's a very enigmatic person. मतलब आप इसको समझ ना पाए. आजकल के परिवेश में सभी लोग ऐसे ही हो गए, कोई किसी को समझ में नहीं पा रहा है. बट एक एनिग्मा है, कहते हैं ना वो एक एनिग्मा है या वो सोसाइटी एक एनिग्मा है, जापानीज लोग एनिग्मा है, समझ में नहीं आते. So they named the machine called enigma machine. And they were really scared, but Alan Turing came and he is the one who made a computer and solved this problem of deciphering their codes. And I just wanted to show you this picture of Alan Turing with his machine. And earlier, the bottom picture you see are the ladies. And they were called the Bletchley heroes in Hidden. Because before Alan Turing made his machine, these ladies who were very, very accomplished mathematicians, they would come, they would look at every piece of code and mathematically solve. But it used to take a lot of time, and before that, the bombing happened. But these ladies are recognized as the Bletchley hidden heroes of Bletchley, because this Alan Turing Center where he used to solve these codes was based out of Bletchley in London, near London. And these ladies, all of them, were recognized as war heroes who worked with Alan Turing. That I think most of them received some sort of medal, the Medal of Honor, when the war ended. However, they were still not able to solve, because 40 people sitting in a room trying to solve every bit what this message said was very, very difficult. And that's where Alan Turing came with that machine. And after that, there are various other developments.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And after that came the silicon chips, because you have seen the old computers which were put in California, which were the size of this room. And when they were started, the first computer which had the diode as transistors, when it was put in the room of this size, it was the first computer with, I think, 512 KB of RAM of the room this size. And when it used to be switched on, California used to, the wattage used to go down in that California block, because it will consume so much power. And from there, we have moved to the devices that you are carrying in your pockets, which can calculate anything you want. So that's the kind of journey which silicon chips have made possible, which radio transistors have made possible, which copper has made possible. And that is the kind of development that has happened in the last 40 years. Normally, there's a theory in political scientists that the entire civilization undergoes a change in 80 years. So they have been able to establish that if you plot history of any country, every 80 years you will see a shift in its entire orientation. And Andy Grove of Intel, who was the CEO of Intel, and he took Intel from a very small company, garage company, to a modern multi-billionaire company. He said that every 18 months you will see a computer revolution. So from 80 years where a country changes landscape to 18 months, Andy Grove said that because of silicon chips, the entire humanity will undergo a change. And that's what we have been seeing. We have been seeing 8086 processors. I'm sure many of you would know 8086, then moved to Pentium 3, 4, 5. And now we have NVIDIA GPU chips, the late processors of Intel and NVIDIA GPU chips. So the journey has been truly magnificent. And that is the power which silicon brings. Not only that, you may produce a chip, you may produce a computer, but you need, Mr. Call, the intellectual input कहाँ से आएगा? आप सारी मशीनें बना लेंगे, हम सब कुछ कर लेंगे, पर हमारा जो intellectual skill उसको काम करने के लिए वो कहाँ से आएगा? और इसीलिए आप देखेंगे कि इन द पीरियड ऑफ राइट फ्रॉम 1960s to about 2000-2020, you will see the growth in computer science courses, in ML courses, everywhere across the country. You see the number of engineers that are turning out. In fact, now in India, we are saying that we are turning more engineers than any other discipline, whether it's mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, electronic, computer science. So that's the kind of growth that is happening. So ये growth कहीं एक दिशा में नहीं हो रही है, एक ये ऑर्गेनिक ग्रोथ है जो हर तरफ से हो रही है. आपके ज़्यादा इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस खुल रहे हैं, आपके पास ज़्यादा टीचर्स हैं पढ़ाने को, आप ज़्यादा कोर्सेज ऑफर कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि इंडस्ट्री एब्जॉर्ब कर रही है. और इस तरह से ये कंप्यूटर का जो ग्रोथ है पिछले 40-50 सालों में हुआ है, सिर्फ चिप से कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन नहीं हुआ है. हम लोग इसको बहुत ही साधारण सरल तरीके से अगर देखना चाहें तो हम इसको इस राइजिंग ग्राफ में देख सकते हैं कि हमारे कुछ फाउंडेशनल कंसेप्ट्स थे, जैसे कि एल्गोरिथम्स, लॉजिक गेट्स, जैसे क्लॉड चैनल की हमने बात की, और फिर कुछ कंप्यूटर्स आए, फिर हमारे पास कुछ चिप्स आए, फिर कुछ ब्रेक थ्रू हुए. लेकिन एक जो सबसे बड़ी ब्रेक थ्रू हुई थी वो थी NLP, नेचुरल लैंग्वेज प्रोसेसिंग. अभी आप कई लोग कंप्यूटर पे देखते होंगे हिंदी फिल्मों में या इंग्लिश फिल्मों में कि जब वो कुछ बहुत बड़ा सा करने जा रहे हैं और अमेरिका खतरे में है और बम गिरने वाला है, या कोई एक जहाज बहुत बड़ा मिसाइल लेके उड़ गया है और वो गिराने वाला है, एक आदमी कंप्यूटर पे कुछ खटर पटर करता है और वो कुछ कमांड टाइप. मुझे नहीं समझ में आता है कि आजकल के जहाँ ग्राफिकल इंटरफेस है वो क्या टाइप कर रहा होगा, बट वो धड़ाधड़ कुछ ना कुछ करते जाता है ना, समथिंग वो आपको मैसेज दिखाते हैं, वो स्क्रीन सडनली हरा हो जाएगा और कुछ होने लगता है. सबसे जो बड़ी डेवलपमेंट हुई उसमें वो हुई नेचुरल लैंग्वेज प्रोसेसिंग की, कि हम कंप्यूटर को अपनी भाषा में कैसे बता पाएं कि हमें क्या चाहिए. और गूगल ने एक टूल डेवलप किया, इसको कहते थे BERT, BERT. जैसे कि हम आपकी जैसे संस्कृत भाषा है, उसमें हम और कहीं भी लगा सकते हैं. हाँ, उसमें आप माता और पिता भी कह सकते हैं और माता पिता और भी कह सकते हैं. हाँ, मित्र सखा मित्र च सखा तो कह सकते हैं. गूगल के BERT ने ये टूल डेवलप किया कि हम सेंटेंस को चाहे इधर से पढ़ें चाहे लेफ्ट से राइट पढ़ें, हम उसकी मीनिंग निकाल सकते हैं. बिकॉज हाउ यू से अ सेंटेंस, व्हाट कम्स बिफोर एंड व्हाट कम्स आफ्टर चेंजेस द सेंटेंस. एंड समटाइम्स God is great is one sentence, great is the God. Meaning remains same, even though we have placed the phrases differently. But how does it? Because computer is very exacting. It wants that I should read 1, 2 and 3. Not 2 के बीच में शायद 3 भी आ जाए, और आज मन 1 लगाने का मन. Human mind समझ सकता है, because it has a context. But computer को एक certainty चाहिए कि वो ऐसे समझेगा. बट गूगल के BERT ने ये किया, उसने कहा कि ठीक है तुम किसी तरह से सेंटेंस को प्लेस कर लो, बिकॉज द वे आई राइट इज नॉट द वे मिस्टर जैन विल राइट और मिस्टर पॉल विल राइट और सम ऑफ यू विल राइट. एवरीवन राइटिंग स्टाइल इज डिफरेंट. बट गूगल सेड दैट ओके फाइन, लेट मी फाइंड अ वे टू सॉल्व इट. एंड आई थिंक दैट इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट अचीवमेंट्स ऑफ डेवलपिंग दिस साइंस टुवर्ड्स moving towards AI. And then came very interesting concept where machine got in conflict with humans, and that is Garry Kasparov. Everyone knows Garry Kasparov is the famous chess master. He held the world record. He beat almost everyone. He had only one competitor at that time, and that was Kasparov. Kasparov and Kasparov, they were two people. And this event is what shaped the current AI development. So IBM built a machine called Deep Blue, and they started studying chess games. And they said that let me see, because chess is also, as Sukant was mentioning, that it's a memory, it's a kind of memory model where I place 2 letters and I remember that first cube mein kaisa hoga aur second mein kaisa hoga. So chess is also like that. They say that let me study all the moves of all the positions and let me put it in my computer and let me write a logic where a computer can pick what will be my next move. And IBM worked it for good 6 to 7 years, and then they came with a machine called Deep Blue, who was not only for chess but for other things. But they said that, let me put it to test by none other than one of the most brilliant minds of that era, Gary Kasparov. And then in 1996, it was agreed by Gary Kasparov's manager, his team, and IBM's team that a match would happen. Gary Kasparov would fight IBM's Deep Blue. And you know, IBM is one of those like industry leaders of world. They are responsible for many things. And this match happened and the world awaited that. And it was an era where machines getting in conflict with humans was quite common. Hollywood made a lot of movies during those times where machines were in conflict with humans. And this match happened in 1996 in Philadelphia. There were two rounds, each per game of 5. The first set of 5 games was won by Gary Kasparov 4-2. And everyone thought that you cannot beat human mind. However, that is not to be. In the second game, Gary Kasparov lost 3.5, 2.5. And in the fourth game, the 37th move, what Gary Kasparov faced was so bizarre, was so unheard of, that Gary Kasparov rose and walked off. And then Deep Blue won. And after that, there were a lot of rumors that Gary Kasparov was not feeling very well. He could not sleep very well a night before. And this is not the competition. He's still senior. However, a month after the game, Gary Kasparov came on a podcast and said that when the computer made that 37th move, I had never seen anything like that. It was beyond human. And truly, the time has come where human mind can take a backseat and let machines do a lot of things. And that's when people started having a tremendous interest in what machines can do. But this battle continued. Deep Blue went on to do many things, inspiring many other movies. However, a remarkable time came when there was a famous matchup between Lee Sedol of South Korea and Go. Go is a game which is not played in our part of the world. It is mostly played in Oriental cultures, China, Korea, and Japan. And Go is unlike chess. We also have played that game in a small form where we have black and white circular discs on a square-shaped cardboard. And if I have to go to the next move, I have to jump over your disc. And when I jump over your disc, you lose that disc. Go is something similar. In Go, the problem in Go is that it is strategic as well as a lot of intuition goes. There's a lot of gut feeling that अगर मैं ये चाल चलूँगा ना तो मैं जीत जाऊँगा क्योंकि मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है. So these players of Go, they are not only very strategic, they are also very intuitive. And people say that to code Go in computers is not possible. संभव ही नहीं है कि आप Go का लॉजिक एक कंप्यूटर में बंद कर पाएं जहां पर ह्यूमन गट इन्वॉल्व है, फीलिंग इन्वॉल्व है. लेकिन उस समय तक गूगल का पदार्पण हमारे उस पर हो चुका था और गूगल ने एक कंप्यूटर, जैसे आईबीएम ने डीप ब्लू बनाया था, गूगल ने गूगल डीप माइंड बनाया एक कंप्यूटर और उनके इंजीनियर्स ने गो के प्रोग्राम को कोड किया. और ली सिडॉल जो कि 6 बार वर्ल्ड चैंपियन थे, उनके साथ ये मैच कराया 2016 में सियोल में. And in this match, again it was a set of 2 games, each with 5 games each. And in the first, again Lee Sedol won, just like Gary Kasparov had won from Deep Blue. Lee Sedol also won. However, in the second game, in the 67th move, again the Google's computer Deep Mind made a move that Lee Sedol said that I have never seen anything like this. It is not humanly possible. It is bizarre. It is exceptional. And then Lee Sedol again walked off. So these developments finally culminated into March 2020 when OpenAI, which is a non-profit organization, released its first LLM LLM model, which is called as a large language model, released its first version called ChatGPT 3. I was following OpenAI for quite a while, even before they released 2, because they were talking about a lot of natural language processing and how humans speak, how human understands languages, and a lot of things were going on in that direction. And so I was following ChatGPT right from 1.5 version, and it still was very experimental. However, when they came in ChatGPT 3, they said that ChatGPT 3 model is like a brain of a sparrow. It can think how much a sparrow can think. It is really small. And sparrows' brains are small. They have not many neural connections. They eat, fly, breathe, digest, but they're not very strategic thinkers. If you're driving a car too fast, a sparrow might actually come at you. But because they are very quick with their wings and they are small animals, they can fly away. But they have not that kind of intelligence where they can, they can hit a car. They don't have that kind of intelligence. And OpenAI said that my Model 3 is like a sparrow. And we will take about 5 to 6 years to make it like a brain of a squirrel by 3.5. And after that, we know how the things have changed. Now we have very large language models which are doing a lot of things. Believe me, we call it intelligent, but actually they are very, very sophisticated forecasting machines. They exactly know what is going to come after the next word, depending upon what context you create. हमारे परिवेश का ध्यान रखते हुए वो ये बताती हैं कि अगर आपने लिखा है कि राम इज अ गुड बॉय, तो राम के बाद इज आना चाहिए, इसके बाद गुड या बैड आना चाहिए या बॉय आना चाहिए, क्योंकि आप उसको एक परिवेश बताते हैं कि हम ये बात उनसे किस परिवेश में कह रहे हैं. एंड कॉन्टेक्स्ट लर्निंग इज अ सब्जेक्ट which has been done by a lot of computer scientists and what is called as transformers. So उसके बारे में हम नहीं जाएंगे, discussion बहुत technical हो जाएगा. However, LLMs actually changed a lot of things we are doing today. जिसको कहते हैं हम large language models. मैं समझ रहा हूँ आप लोग काफी लोग अभी थक गए होंगे इतना ज्ञान सुन के. But so allow me to show you some real life examples as to how we can actually see. So what I'm just going to demo ChatGPT to you. I'm using their model called Model O, and I'm on a paid subscription, so it allows me to attach documents and all. Now, when all this large language model development was happening, because it has to predict what is going to be the next word, so it used to make errors. It used to hallucinate information. In fact, recent in the Alabama court, a lawyer presented a petition to the judge. It looked very nice. The judge awarded the judgment in the lawyer's favor, only to realize that many of the retrieval augmented generation. They said that, okay, fine, ChatGPT can hallucinate, it can think on its own. So why can't I can provide him a document or a set of documents, it can read from there and give me the answers. And that's what RAG is. RAG, you give a document to a model, say that, oh, kindly provide me answers from this, and it will provide you answers. And that's why you're seeing these recent advertisements that can learn from your documents, query your documents, summarize your documents, all that. However, I'm just going to do a quick demo with you. Okay. So this is my ChatGPT 4.0 model, which you can see on the top. And I'm going to invite any of you to ask a question so that I can ask ChatGPT. So any one of you, if you like to volunteer for a question or any desire you have today, samosa kaise banate hain, patni ki डांट से कैसे बचें, घर जाने पे डांट कैसे नहीं खाएं, सड़क कैसे नेविगेट करें, जो भी आपके दिमाग में प्रश्न हो, कोई भी एक वॉलंटियर, 2 लोग 3 लोग जितना हमारे पास जैन साहब समय देंगे।
हाँ नहीं, मैं थोड़ा ज़्यादा सीरियस बात पूछ रहा था, ये वाला ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग लग रहा है लेकिन, बट एनी केस आस्क इट अबाउट मे बी recent achievements of Central Electronics Limited.
मैंने गलतियां की हैं,
ठीक है,
सुधारना उसका काम। Let's see what answer it gives. Because I'm not connected to the internet, so let me connect to the internet. ये रुको, कर लो बस। स्क्रीन किस तरफ है? माउस उधर चला गया, इधर चला गया। तो ये स्क्रीन हमारे राइट साइड है। So I'm here now, I'm connected to internet. I think I am. Yes, I am. Let's see what it tells me. It could be an issue of net, but okay. यहाँ पे आना है ना? मीनवाइल ये कर क्या रहा है, ये मेरे क्वेश्चन को ले रहा है एंड इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स बैकग्राउंड में एक ट्रांसफॉर्मर्स होते हैं वो काम कर रहे हैं और ये इसका कॉन्टेक्स्ट पता कर रहा है कि ये सवाल क्या है। वो बेसिकली कर क्या रहा है कि वो सीएल की वेबसाइट पे जाएगा, मोस्ट लाइकली वहां पे इंफॉर्मेशन लेगा, उसको अपने डेटाबेस में डालेगा और वो चेक करेगा कि सीएल कहीं और भी है क्या। इसीलिए मैंने गाजियाबाद लिखा है कि सीएल गाजियाबाद पे जाओ। मोस्ट लाइकली ये जो भी सीएल के सोर्सेज हैं इससे काम करेगा और वहां से इंफॉर्मेशन अपने डेटाबेस में डालेगा, डंप करेगा और फिर उसके हिसाब से जो इम्पोर्टेंट होगी वो आपके सामने प्रस्तुत करेगा। आई होप ये चल जाए। What I'll do is I'll refresh it again. Okay. Let me try. Can you share achievements of CEL Ghaziabad? इस बार मैंने इसको पूरा CEL भी नहीं बोला, गाजीपुर हो गया। ओके,
ऐसी करिए,
ऐसी चलती है,
ऐसी करिए।
ओके, देखते हैं ये क्या बताता है। So it made corrected my mistake. नहीं, ये ताली इसके ये तो
अपने लिए बता रहे हैं। हम मौका नहीं छोड़ते तारीफ करने का।
नहीं ये मतलब इसके लिए तालीम देना तो इसका काम है वो. So it look what few things I said CEL Ghazipur. So CEL itself is quite complicated. There could be 1,001 things. It could be Central Electronics Laboratory. It could be Chief Electrical something. Plus इसने Ghazipur हमने किया है, but it corrected itself. No, your information is wrong with me because it understood from its algorithms that there will be nothing called maybe the user wants to go to CL Ghaziabad because it says CL makes more sense. Ghazipur doesn't make sense. So it found a way to recognize this information, understand my language, they go to CL website and gave this wonderful achievements which you guys have achieved. So it says that it declared a Miniratna, pioneer in solar photovoltaic. Yeah. Leader in railway signaling systems, static defense equipment. Congratulations to you for Sindhu radar modules.
200 megawatt.
Expansion of manufacturing green infrastructure, and look at the recency of information is citing information of June 2025. I think you just got inaugurated a couple of weeks back, a green data center here. You just got inaugurated, so it has pulled up information, and these are its performance highlights. So it has given information, classified information, and summarized it. Imagine us doing that. If suppose tomorrow somebody asks you, kindly give me achievements of CL, we would struggle. Struggle not because we don't know it, struggle because our challenge lies in organizing the information. But it has organized it for you. Some other question?
पत्नी की डांट से कैसे बचें? सीरियस है सबका आंसर है सब. यही सबसे ज़्यादा काम आएगा. सीए का अचीवमेंट तो कहीं और से भी मिल जाएगा.
Is this framing of question correct or shall I frame it differently?
सर ऐसे लिख दीजिए ना पत्नी की डांट.
Okay. हिंदी में नहीं, हिंदी कर सकते हैं. हिंदी कर सकते हैं.
हाँ हाँ पत्नी की डांट लिखेंगे तो भी बता देगा.
कोशिश करते हैं. Now we have changed the language. सबसे जरूरी
स्मार्ट एग्जिट.
और अब है गंभीर सलाह.
गंभीर सलाह.
मजाक कर रहे हैं.
ये आई डोंट नो, लेकिन अगर इसमें कोई बहुत ही तर्कसंगत नहीं है तो हम उस पर विवाद कर सकते हैं, पर मुझे लगा कि सारे कुछ तर्कसंगत है. ये इसने एक ह्यूमन ट्विस्ट देने की कोशिश की है, जिसको कहते हैं कि हम एआई को ह्यूमनाइज कर रहे हैं. तो अभी आप देखेंगे कि जब भी ChatGPT के बहुत सारे रिस्पॉन्सेज आते हैं तो उनमें इमोजीज डालता है, बिकॉज इज ट्राइंग टू ह्यूमनाइज. बिकॉज हम लोग जब चैट करते हैं, हम लोग तो नहीं पर टीनेजर्स बहुत सारे हैं यहाँ पर, जब वो चैट करते हैं तो उसमें इतनी सारी इमोजी होती है और वर्ड्स कम होते हैं, तो वो कोशिश कर रहा है. अब ये बोल रहा है कि यदि आप इसे स्क्रिप्ट, पोस्टर या प्रेजेंटेशन की तरह प्रस्तुत करना चाहेंगे तो मैं वो भी कर सकता हूँ. सो हम इसका इस्तेमाल देख रहे हैं, इसका पावर देख रहे हैं. एनी अदर क्वेश्चन विच यूड लाइक टू एड्रेस, सीरियस, नॉन सीरियस, controversial, anything, and then we can find that how this tool, this is just ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not alone. There are various other softwares. There's something called as Claude.ai. There's something called as Perplexity.ai. There is Grok, Elon Musk ka Grok. They have yesterday released Grok 4. So it is just one of the many tools which you can use. I have a paid subscription, therefore I'm showing you this. Many others don't allow beyond, say, 3 questions or 4 questions, but I thought I'll take this as an example. However, any other questions which you would like?
एक सर ये पूछिए Rubik क्यूब्स blindfolded solve कैसे कर सकते हैं? नहीं हमको तो मना कर दिया एज पे. हाँ कर गलत भी ले लेता.
Let's see what it says.
You have to say whether it is right or not.
मतलब हम लोग इतना पढ़ के I'm just trying to see that it is maintaining a context of information. It is not giving you some random that Trump made tariffs today or announced tariffs. It is not giving you irrelevant information. The thing is that we think when we see these answers that ये तो बताना ही था इसको. But imagine how a machine has understood your context, your language, your idea, your thought, and as he said that it also understood that you might be joking, therefore you gave a smiley also. So emotion, understanding, both got combined. However, this is all language, but let's generate a picture. Let's generate a picture to see what is happening here, right? So what I'll do is, can anyone suggest a picture idea which can be generated?
CMD or CEL.
It will generate a very handsome picture which...
It can't be seen. Try.
Sorry. You want any particular style of the picture?
Suited, put it.
Indian costume.
Right? Let's see. So it did text for you. It is doing something. I don't know.
वो मिस्टर इंडिया बना दिया दे दिखेंगे. can't be forward.
Let me try it. It says that I cannot generate an image, I need a reference. So it would not be able to see. And these are also some of the safeguard rails which have been built into these models so as not to generate pictures of individuals which you can morph or manipulate. We are going to talk about some of the pitfalls of AI in my next few minutes. But this is some of the what they call...
Sir, इसमें वो कर दीजिए. Banner for the today's event, Mind and Machine.
Okay.
I think that it will be able to generate.
Any particular style you want? Let's see what it does. Because these are not prepared questions which we had first thought of. They are questions here. So we don't know what it will generate. But for the last image, just for clarifications, a lot of stress has now been in AI alliances is to build safeguards. rails. For example, suppose a young child is going on ChatGPT and asking some not so grace images, or what they call as a porn images, or something is getting generated. So a lot of effort is now going on to build a lot of guardrails into the system so that it does not generate text. In fact, if you would have seen the yesterday's presentation of Elon Musk, what happened that in the version 3.5 which they had released, somebody asked about leading leaders of the world who have shaped history positively, and it generated Hitler's description. And immediately, Grok model was changed, and they introduced Grok model 4. They must have been working on in the past also, but somehow this is how they were able to. So a lot of systems. So this is what image it is generating. Let's see what it does. Imagine we have given him a context of mind and machine, a banner, engaging, and event. So it is thinking that what kind of poster will actually do well. So it has generated this kind of image. So this is the poster it has generated. We can do variations of it. We can specify colors and all. I'm going to show you one thing.
Just to share, sir, आज का जो banner mind and machine का है, that was generated by me through this only.
Okay.
The entire thing.
Okay.
It also gave us that option of I had said कि mind के नीचे भी हमको एक human चाहिए and machine के नीचे भी. तो उसने एक random लाया. फिर मैंने बोला हमको इसको replace करके इनकी photos चाहिए. तो उनकी photos आ गई. फिर मैंने कहा क्योंकि जो फोटो मैंने विवेक की ली थी वो उसमें वो टी शर्ट में था, मैंने बोला टी शर्ट की जगह पे हमको कोट पैंट चाहिए, कोट टाइप. तो आज का बैनर इज एक्चुअली थ्रू व्हाट विवेक इज शेयरिंग विद यू ऑल नाउ, इज थ्रू दैट ओनली.
Okay, so we are going to do one more thing. I am moving on to my next demo, because having knowledge is one thing, but to see it in real in life, and we'll gradually move to how you can use it in your daily life in a very safe manner to actually enhance your productivity. It is like what many people call that it's a tool which has to be used. If you've got a car and your sole purpose of your car is to impress your neighbor, then it's not a good investment. You should be able to be more efficient in that car. So AI is also like that. You need to be more efficient with that use. However, enough of intellectual stuff. We are going to create some music. We are going to AI to create some music. I will try. That subscription I have not taken, so hopefully it will create for me. So I'll suggest one idea for a poetry, because it has to be a song. So a song has to be generated because we are in AI session. So kindly give me an idea for a song which I will ask AI to generate.
Something on dewdrops?
Dewdrops. So how should I word it, ma'am?
Morning dewdrops, garden, lotus petal, something like that.
Okay.
Get up
You want
the
it in
morning and
Hindi?
we get it.
You want it in Hindi?
No, English. We get up in the morning and we just walk on the grass. We see the dewdrops on the plant leaves. Gives a very nice feeling, fresh and cool.
So I have asked it to generate lyrics with what madam said about plants, early morning, petals, etc. So that it can create some music for me. Let's see what it does. I'm not sure what is going to come out, but let's see. Let's try to make some music out of it. So it has named the song as Whispers in the Dew, right? And it has some poetry. Mist hangs low on silver leaves, softly waking earth that breathes. So it is maintaining lyric, it is maintaining meter. गाना बनाने में सबसे जरूरी होता है कि हमें मीटर ऑब्जर्व करना होता है ना. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक पहला जो अंतरा है वो इतना बड़ा कर दो और उसकी जो सेकंड सेंटेंस है वो छोटा हो जाए. तो हमें एक मीटर मेंटेन करना होता है सॉन्ग्स में. So let's see. So what I'll do is lyrics are what they are. I mean we should not change it. Let AI do the job. So I'll just copy this. दोही का बनाते हैं. दोही का मैम.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to copy it and then I'm going to paste it on something called as sono.ai. Now, Suno.ai is a music generation platform completely driven by AI, and I am going to paste my lyrics here. I hope it works, but I will paste my lyrics here, right? So I'm going to remove this verse one because I have pasted it. And I'm going to remove the chorus. And madam, what kind of, because the lyrics are yours, so I would like what kind of music would you like?
It will be soft, subtle, obviously not rock.
Okay.
Rock बाद में कर लेंगे. We'll see how it changes into rock.
Soft. Any particular instruments? Guitar, drums.
Guitar based. Drums are the pushing. Laced with a tune of violin, maybe.
Okay. Let me try. And violin.
And bits of flute, some.
And with flutes, right?
Yeah.
So, this is what the poem ऊपर paste कर दी है, जो भी AI ने generate की थी. यहाँ पे music style कर दिया है. And let's see whether it creates some music or not. So it is creating two versions for you. Normally it creates a male version and a female version because we haven't asked for a duet. Let's see what it creates. I don't know what is coming out of it. I hope you all like it. Shall I play this, man?
Please.
That's the guitar.
Hangs low on silver leaves, softly waking the bird that breathes. Petals stir in hush of light, touched by dreams that fade with night.
So you are getting a general idea, right? Can I put it stop, ma'am? I know you want to listen it more, but so imagine we were just talking about text, images, but look at what AI is trying to do, what its algorithm is trying to do. It's what let's break it down. It's taking a lyric, putting some music to it of what I asked. So it must have built a guitar database, all instruments database, putting what kind of lyrics are like, what is classified as soft, rock, jazz. I don't know. And it also creates beautiful Hindi songs. For this presentation, I created one at home, and it sounded beautiful. So this is what it's doing. But the more challenging engagement is actually coming now. Recently, you must have heard an announcement that Microsoft is laying off about 400 of its lead programmers from one of their campuses. And that's where the real impact of AI is now coming to be seen. We are just going to demonstrate one more thing, how it is changing a few things. So we are going to visit a website called Replit. Now Replit is a site, you must have heard recently a term called vibe programming. Vibe programming. Vibe programming is that I know nothing about programming. I can only type. But I can create websites, I can create programs, I can create anything I like. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make your website. I don't know anything about coding. I don't know anything about React, JS, JavaScript, HTML, or any of those technologies. But I'm going to create CL's website in the way you want it. So I'm just going to type, can you create website of Central Electronics Limited, Ghaziabad, of about 5 pages. create an engaging website with gray and blue and with some contours of red. Make the website engaging. And let's see what it does. So I'm making a Central Electronics Limited Ghaziabad website. So it is working on a plan. And that's where AI has, it will take about 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute, couple of minutes, depending upon the quantum of work it has to do. But this is where the AI has started to make a difference. And I'm sure when we will have the question and answer session, we will have certain questions in this regard, that how it is going to impact my life, your life, and life of a society and country and world as a whole. So it is doing few things. So it has gone into a thinking mode, that is to imagining how it's doing. So it is designing a visual preview for us now, and very soon is going to show us how your website is going to look like. So it is this kind of technologies which are going to change, and believe me, every day new things are coming up. In fact, recently IIT Delhi hosted a ideas hackathon, and there a team of students of their third year have developed a model and a logic where they can read MRI scans. So I'm just going to blow it up for you, and let's see what it is doing for you. Still working. So it will start showing your website, because it's still working on a lot of designs and characters and how it's going to show. Because it is, so this is what it has made for you. I have given him zero information about CEL, only telling him that it's at CEL Ghaziabad. So it has created a page of about 5 pages, and it has So this is the power what we are talking about. And of course there is this, can I go away from this, or you still want to enjoy this for a while?
So just a question. I mean, whatever it is doing, so it basically needs something on the digital platform somewhere, wherever, Facebook, LinkedIn, something has to be there. It cannot create that, right? There is some database which it's referring to.
A straight answer would be yes and no, but it is not this simple. What it does is, because this model which is designing this for me, it is trained. So it is trained on some material. And that material is internet. As far as still here, you are absolutely right. It must know what businesses CEL is engaged in, what it does. It has also been trained in, when I say create an engaging website, what does engaging mean? So it has used some colors, some charts, some visual elements which attract me towards the site. For example, you see the gradation. They are not like yellow, red, blue, green. They are gradations. So you see the design elements of these. So it understands what engaging can actually end up meaning, and has created icons, it has created balanced text, it has used some sort of font, some sizing of the font, placement of elements, so it is doing. So it is trained that how website elements need to be designed. So it is trained on not only on your company's information, it is trained on how websites look, it is trained on which languages the website has to use, and it is trained on how you have to all put it together. The second part of the question where the answer is no. I can still create information about Central Electronics Limited, but I have to provide a lot of context. I will have to provide a lot of context that we are engaged in this business, that business, we want to do this and that. And then it will pull information from other sources and start augmenting your information. So, straight answer yes and no, but it's more nuanced. It is not very simple to reply to these. Now, this is as far as the technologies go. This is as far as the things are. I actually wanted to show you one more demo, and if time permits, I will eventually move to Adobe Firefly. What Adobe Firefly does is that it creates images, which we have seen, but also creates videos for you. In fact, Google has just developed a model called VEO3, where you're able to actually generate full scenes of a movie. Normally, these technologies have a limitation about 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. But with VEO3 of Google, you can actually generate image sequences. And a lot of conversation is now happening in the creative world, whether we actually need creative professionals or will AI generate everything. We'll come to those questions later, but if time permits, then I will show you all. I just want to put a disclaimer here that all the images that you are seeing here on my presentation, except two, where I showed you the photo of David Greybeard with the Jane Goodall, and Lee Sedol and Kasparov, all images are AI generated. So even I have used AI to augment this presentation. In fact, you can actually generate presentations online, but it would have seemed too unprofessional for me to do that for your presentation. You could have just generated a presentation, came here and gave it to you. There's a tool called gamma.app. You all can try, you can go there, try it, it's free, it generates first 20 slides free. And I think most presentations here or anywhere, if it exceeds 20 slides, it's not much of a presentation. You know, it behosh karne ki dawa hai. So there gamma.app can actually be very useful. So you can try that. Now all this development is happening and people have started wondering how I can bring AI in my work environment, in my work settings. And there the debate has now started that should I get something which does everything, or should I focus on something which does specifically for me? For example, suppose in your CEL there is a section which does circuit boards. I mean, you have those radar modules, right? And which was highly praised in the Operation Sindoor. Suppose there is some gentleman who is soldering circuit boards, and he has to produce, say, 10 number of circuit boards, or solder 10 number of circuit boards, or put transistors in, say, 30 circuit boards, and you have to do a quality audit. That's a lovely ringtone. And you have to do that, the gentleman has to do the circuit boards, and you are a quality audit, because it eventually comes to quality, that how the boards have been soldered. If there is a camera placed over the circuit boards, and it can analyze how is the soldering, what is the quality of the soldering, if there are any breaks or any bubbles in the soldering which have potential in future, and it can tell you that out of the 10 boards that you presented me, board number 9 with this serial number is faulty. These technologies are actually in place and they are actually being deployed. So what is now being called as a vertical AI, that I don't want to generate image, song or Patni se kaise bache. I want my work related AI, which I can use. And it has immense potential both to affect organizations and our daily lives. First, there is something called as the pharmaceutical. Why your drugs are so expensive? Why cancer drugs are so expensive? why diabetes drugs are so expensive, because a lot of money goes in research. Out of 1,000 formulas that they test, 9,999 fail. Only one works. And 10,000 is a very small number, I'm saying. Pharmaceutical companies like Eli Lilly and all, they test about 1 million formulas before they can find one which might work. And this is a huge expense. The price, of course, is paid by the consumers and government. Now, Google's DeepMind has developed a model, trained a model on how human body protein folds. Because we are all made of proteins, and for a chemical to get attached to a particular protein to solve my disease, I must know the protein structure in my body. So that the drug, that chemical goes and get attached at a particular point. And to understand this protein folds is not humanly possible, so you have to study one protein structure for years and then come with a solution. Now, Google's DeepMind has been able to study these proteins for us, putting them through an algorithm, and it is able to do those protein folding analysis pretty quickly. And that has enhanced drug discovery, that if I use this 20 formulas, which drug is going to work. And they are actually being used in the industry. In fact, I was telling you about IIT Delhi hackathon. A team of third-year students of BTech, of electrical and mechanical engineering, they have trained their AI model to read the scans of the MRI machines. And they are able to see what doctors cannot see. And they are saying that, they said that it enhances diagnosis by about 37%. It means that out of 100 diagnoses, 37 which doctors may not have predicted, the machine will be able to predict. Similar technologies have now been worked for retina diseases, for diabetic myopathy. When we are diabetic, doctors ask us to go and check our fundus and eyes every year, every 6 months, depending upon the extent of your HB1AC. So they are saying that by studying your retina scans by AI, I can actually predict whether your fundus started deteriorating or not. Similar thing they have been able to do with lung cancer and skin cancer. The problem with the skin cancer is that we are not able to detect it with naked eye unless some eruption happens. But AI, by studying the adjoining cells, is able to study whether you have some symptoms of skin cancer or not. So this is the kind of deep AI in one particular domain, because I have trained it so much that it now knows what is to be done. So this is the vertical AI. In my company where I am working, corporation, we are looking at construction AI. Because when we engage in with construction contracts, they are all fat documents. In fact, one of our tenders, about 25,000 crores, runs into 7,000 of pages of specifications. And then there are 4 parts to it, part A, part B to part 4, where employment's requirement, contractor's requirement, safety and health. And it is not humanly possible to take those documents to dispute. So now we are talking to a few agencies as to how AI can read the document for us, understand what is a concrete mix, what is M25 cement, M35 cement, what is rebarring, what is a method statement, and then can come up. What happens that the contractor, because he has to deal with my only one contract, and I have to deal with 30 other contracts, he has a team of lawyers who keep on scanning his letters, what we write to him, what the contract says, what the condition says. But we can't deploy 30 lawyers for one document. So when we represent the court case in a court or before a dispute board, they are able to represent their cases better. And somehow we are able to not. So we, from very beginning in our project, started taking this initiative that we will ask AI to read our documents for us. Because as we have seen, it can really do a very good job. So now, vertical AI is what people are talking about, that kindly go into your domain, study everything available, and then come up with a solution. Horizontal AI is very good for generating music, all that things which we have done. But this website example which I showed to you, has the capacity to do things for you specific to you. This Replit, what I showed you, does not only generate websites. It can make programs for you. It can write apps for you. The only question which is now happening, that if I download the code and put it and use it, how do I maintain the code? Should I keep going back to Replit, to correct it and all. So all those questions are there, but this is the extent of vertical AI and other things. I have already told you about these things, so I think I'm also running out of time, but this seems to be a long chat. So these are the areas where we have been working on. All this is generated from AI. In fact, this whole slide is generated from AI because I gave it input that I want these developments of these areas. And it is something called by a tool called napkin.ai. You give what you want, it needs information, but it can visualize for you. Napkin.ai. So you can use it in daily life. It is free for almost all things. You go give certain text and say that I want an idea, because sometimes if I write all this in text in the presentation, it will be very boring. I'm sure it is boring anyway, but unless I don't put a picture, it doesn't make much sense to you, because as they say, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So this I have generated using napkin.ai because I gave it that I want development in these areas, give me an engaging visual representation. So it gave me this. Now there are a few other developments are happening. I will just try to rush and then take your questions in next 2 to 3 minutes. There are a few other developments are happening which are really changing the field quite fast. And one thing which is happening is what is called as AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. Now we humans have general intelligence. When we drive a car, a simple example, we listen to the music, we see the road, we talk to our children in the back or with the wife, we also check our phone, we're also able to order that we will reach home by say 8 or 8:30. My wife cannot cook or I cannot cook, so let's order some Swiggy or Zomato or whatnot. We are able to do that also in the meanwhile. So we are doing a lot of things, no? Knowing where to go to order. For example, if I have to order Zomato, I have to go to on a Zomato app, I have to use my phone, I know which site should I navigate. Meanwhile, I also looking at my dashboard that पीछे से एक police वाला भी है, so I should not exceed and all that. There's a divider, there's a cycle cutting, so I'm doing a lot of things. Now, there's a lot of move in developing artificial general intelligence, that an AI should be able to understand generally what happens in my life, because I'm able to address 10 different things in one go. हम बहुत कुछ एक साथ कर रहे होते हैं और फिर भी हम अपना जो मेन काम होता है वो कर पाते हैं. तो AGI का डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है और एक एजेंटिक AI पे बहुत काम हो रहा है. AI एजेंट्स और एजेंटिक AI पे, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल यहीं CL का एग्जांपल कर लेते हैं. मान लीजिए आप में से कई लोग अपने MD को सुबह एक MIS इन्फॉर्मेशन भेजते होंगे. जैसे मेरे पास हर सुबह करीब 8 साढ़े 8 के बीच में खूब सारी मेल्स आती हैं कि कल का खर्चा ये रहा, ये ग्रोथ प्रोजेक्शंस हैं, ये बजट वेरिएशंस हैं, आपकी जो कल मीटिंग हुई थी उसके ये मिनट्स हैं, ये एजेंडा पॉइंट्स हैं, ये एक्शन पॉइंट्स हैं, आपको इन पे एक्शन लेना है, रेलवे बोर्ड और मंत्रालयों से करस्पॉन्डेंस आए हैं, इनका जवाब देना है, 5 RTI है, 6 केसेस हैं, 7 कोड. मेरे पास एक मेल का एक शेड्यूल आता है सुबह. वो कोई ना कोई कर रहा होता है, कोई सुबह 7 बजे का होगा, कोई रात में भेज रहा होगा. बट these things are repetitive, they happen daily, they know where to pull information from, whom to call, whom to get, how to put and send it. AI agents जो आजकल डेवलप किए जा रहे हैं, जो अभी पूरी तरह आए नहीं हैं पर उन पे बहुत काम हो रहा है और बहुत सारे एरियाज में कुछ किया है. ये करेगा क्या? इसी एग्जांपल को लेते हुए, it will know where to pick information, a program will run, it will pick information from some place, it will start putting it in a format I have provided, it will start verifying from the person who has to write me mail whether I am putting this information is correct or not. It will compose it in a mail, make an Excel sheet, and will know that it has to be sent to me. So all these activities, an agent will take over and start doing that activities. और उस पे काफी काम हो रहा है, तो AI agents पे काफी डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है. फिर मल्टीमोडल AI, हमने सुनो AI देखा, ChatGPT देखा, Replit देखा. लेकिन अगर मुझे कुछ ऐसा करना है जो कि हर जगह से कुछ ना कुछ उसको करना है, तो मैं हर वेबसाइट पे तो नहीं जाता रहूंगा ना, मेरे तो दिन भर का काम हो जाएगा. So now there are programs which are working on multimodal AIs, that it knows where to go, do what, come back and give you the output. Now the one critical thing that is happening is called AI edge. Edge devices are those which don't leave you. My watch, my phone, my glass, smart glasses I'm talking about. So those are called edge devices because a lot of compute is happening on those devices. Those devices are calculating a lot of stuff for you. For example, when your phone, Android or Apple, anywhere, whatever you use, you do a lot of picture corrections. ये तार हटा दो, ये आदमी पिक्चर से हटा दो, ये बाइक क्यों खड़ी हो गई है वो हटा दो. lot of intelligence is happening on phone. No? Insta का ये reel ठीक नहीं आ रहा है, इसको थोड़ा इसको modify कर लेते हैं, इसको animate कर लेते हैं, filters डाल लेते हैं. A lot of compute is happening on your phone, and these phones never leave you. And now there is a lot of development that all the compute should happen on my phone for safety concerns and other concerns. So these are called edge compute, and now people are working on that AI should be pulled onto my devices, and I should not keep on referring to some server somewhere. So these are called edge computes. How our AI agents are really getting big, and we should watch this space, how AI agents will function. But normally ये सवाल आता है कि इंडिया में क्या हो रहा है AI के ऊपर. We are world's third or fourth largest number of AI patent holders. You'll be surprised to know, as I was surprised about 2 years back, that India designs almost 40% of world chips. All the chips designers are mostly Indians. For example, all naval vessel which goes into the ship, almost 60% of that crew will have an Indian. Similarly, all of the world chips designing, India is a powerhouse. We are not able to manufacture because of the complexity of manufacturing, but a lot of chip designing happens in India. And India also holds the largest number of patents, one of the largest after US, China, Germany. India holds the largest number of AI patents. So a lot of development is happening in India about AI. We have formed an AI India mission in 2023, and it's creating a lot of compute power. You would have heard the news that Yotta, a data center, YOTTA, which is promoted by Hiranandani, is developing a GPU-based data center in Bombay, and it is India's first GPU-based data center of NVIDIA GPUs. So they bought some 10,000 chips from NVIDIA, and it is coming to India. It's already installed, and so a lot of compute is happening on those GPUs. As I was telling you about my corporation's engagement with AI, we are struggling how to get our compute. So now we have asked Railtel, or you might ask CND CEL, to procure some graphics processor so that the compute increases, because those things would be required. So India is also providing a lot of compute now to our developers. You must have heard about the recent developments called Bhashini, where we are developing our models across the languages to develop AI, because we don't speak one language. We speak 18 constitutionally recognized and thousands of dialects and other things. For us, for India AI to work, it has to speak my language. So a lot of development is happening on Bhashini, and we are investing a lot of talent, a lot of partnerships are happening in Indian AI. And like what good things in life, you will have to have some cautions. It is not foolproof, it is developing. It is like a child who is very bright, very intelligent, but is risk prone, can go into danger, can damage itself, can damage others. So we have to be absolutely careful with this, and yet use it in our daily lives to build on it. You must have heard of something called as deep fake, where you take my face, you take my voice, generate visuals and audio, which feels like I am speaking, but actually it's not me. You must have heard that famous video of Barack Obama speaking ill of Trump. That's the first instance where deep fake was circulated. In the last elections, a lot of deep fakes were used to promote ill will among candidates, to promote religious disharmony. You must have heard this. And recently, about 6 years back, Facebook was accused of using a lot of misinformation to influence voters in a particular country. So these things are not new, and a firm called Cambridge Analytica was also disbanded. So a lot of these things come with a lot of caution has to be exercised. You would have heard about phone scammers mimicking your child's voice, saying that he has got trapped in a police case, asking money from you. So they actually clone your voice, and there are tools available online, dime a dozen. You give 3 or 4 seconds of your own voice, it will clone the voice for you, and then you can play any sentence you like. So they use that to scam you and saying that your child is in danger, and then you end up paying money. Using Replit, they have fraudulently created ICI Bank's website. It looks like the same. And so people end up going there because we just press some link, press something and go to that website and then end up losing a lot of money. A lot of fake travel websites are created where people go and book a holiday to Goa at 7,000, 9,000 thinking it's a steal. You apply for leave and you reach airport, there is no booking on your flight because the whole thing was fake. And when you go back to the website, it does not exist. So these things are quite common. The biggest thing that you have to protect is your identity, because your phone number, your phone is your identity, your digital identity, and that is something which you need to protect. A lot of social media manipulations, misinformation, and the kids who are in Instagram, the adults who are in Instagram, they have to be absolutely cautious. A lot of things you are seeing are AI generated. In Chongdong in China, there is a whole farm which generate contents for you. So they have about 1,000, 2,000, a million phones working just to peddle contents to you. You must have heard about bots, how bots vote. When you say good or bad, I can influence that voting. So there's a lot of challenging information which needs to be found, and we have to be absolutely careful. Like any good thing, we have to protect it. And then this is what the journey we have been from human intelligence to machine intelligence, and both are extreme end of our spectrums, and yet they are very much developing into a similar ecosystem. So here there are a lot of things to be spoken about, because this area is, I'm just a small student of this area, but this is a huge ocean where I have just presented possibly a millionth of a drop of that ocean. And it's a fascinating area. Please explore it, because your life is going to change because of it. And I'm sure here many of you will be using it on a regular basis, but just see how you can make it your assistant, an AI assistant. I'd love to have your questions now.
So while we use this kind of AI tool and stuff, so we share definitely information which pertains to me personally or to the organization where we work. So would it also lead to kind of risk of those things getting somewhere while we're using these chatbots and all those things, or it's somewhere prevents it from going on the normal internet platform?
That's a great question. Yes, this is a risk, because you are sending information to a website and we don't know credentials of that website. You must have heard that story that certain Samsung car engineers put out a design on the web. It's a proprietary information, and they wanted some corrections which ChatGPT is to do. ChatGPT took it into a website and it was available for others to use. So those people were suspended and removed from the job. This risk is there. But there are few developments happening in this area. Of course, we are aware of DeepSeek's information seeking. DeepSeek is a model from China which collects a lot of information, as they say. So I don't use DeepSeek. I don't use any of the proprietary information which my company has or Government of India has. I don't. However, there are certain workarounds which you can use. First word of caution, absolutely, almost always, never share any of your company's information which is you think is proprietary or your company thinks is proprietary, or for which you have signed a non-disclosure agreement. Share it on web. Forget about WhatsApp and all. Never share it on web, because it is like a porous machine. चाय की छन्नी जैसा है, कुछ न कुछ गिरेगा, किसी किसी को मिलेगा ही. So be very careful. Having said that, you can actually install an instance of AI on your local machine. There are tools available, you can do it. You require some level of skill, but you can use it on your local machine, and then you can select a model which I want to use. And that will work even when internet is not there, or there it is immaterial, because the model sits on your computer. You just require a decent computer with a decent browser and a decent speed. It is work, and most people have now started doing that. There are a few technical challenges which you will be able to come. It's there on the net. You can install it on your own machine and use it. However, for writing a letter to your MD or a welcome speech, I mean, let the internet know whom you're welcoming, or what kind of posters are getting generated, what kind of music is getting generated. But proprietary information, absolutely, please don't share it online on ChatGPT or any other platforms. That is, so you must have start from that presumption that this information is going to be shared. For example, when we talk ill of anybody, we must keep in mind that if I'm going to tell somebody, it is going to be shared. ये बहुत सीक्रेट है, तुम्ही को बता रहा हूँ, तुम मेरे दोस्त हो इसलिए बता रहा हूँ, लेकिन ये देखो और किसी से मत कहना. इसका मतलब ऑलमोस्ट 100% श्योर है कि वो तीसरे को मालूम पड़ेगी. So normally what we sometimes do is that we introduce an information just to know what is the network effect getting. So वो आपकी बात बिल्कुल सही है, वैसा होगा. So इसलिए उसमें ध्यान रखने की जरूरत है.
I have a question. Suppose I upload something which I deliberately know it's wrong. It has an error. So I've uploaded it. So then when tomorrow somebody asks a question which has an answer in what I uploaded which is wrong, so does ChatGPT or AI present to that person something which is a fact now, which I deliberately had posted as a wrong information?
It can happen. For example, if you deliberately posted a wrong information saying that this is the correct information, this is how I function, it might use that information and learn from it. But it's not going to produce as it is, because it is not storing your information as an entire chunk. It is storing your information in bits and pieces, because every model has a learning engine at the back, and whatever it picks from you, it starts validating. For example, if you start saying to ChatGPT 2 plus 2 is 5, then again tomorrow come and say 2 plus 2 is 5 or 2 plus 2 is 9. It's not going to keep telling you that 2 plus 2 is 9 because Madam Call said that in CL and she's a big officer and she is sitting next to MD, therefore this must be correct. ChatGPT will not say it. It will start validating it from other sources. And that's why recently you would have seen in our chats, it has started citing sources. From where am I picking this information from? What is my source? And you can ask ChatGPT few things, which ChatGPT allows. Cite your source. Don't create any information that is not found either in literature or on websites. And don't hallucinate. List your sources and tell me in this manner. If you have any doubts, ask questions. You can do all this to ChatGPT. One more thing you can do to ChatGPT is that suppose I have sought certain information. You can ask, kindly forget the document I have uploaded. Kindly forget any learnings you had from this document. Don't ever quote this information. Let this information be available to me or not. You can ask ChatGPT to do this. It tells you that I have removed your uploaded file. I have not learned anything from you. I will not quote this to other users. And then it shows that memory updated. You will see a small icon getting up and down, memory updated. So I believe, I have never seen ChatGPT servers or never gone in there. I believe they will be telling the truth when they tell me all this, that I have removed your information. I'm not citing from you. I will not quote this information to other users. So this is the new, because this is what a lot of AI Alliance, which is working on these rules as to how establish a lot of guardrails, information, because information is power at the end of the day. So this is something which is, a lot of teams are working on.
Hello, sir. I have one question.
Yeah.
How to integrate OpenAI with our local machines, like framework of LLMs and Hugging Face?
So here's a techie kind of question. You can do a few things. You can download a model from Hugging Face. For those who are not familiar with the Hugging Face is one of the pioneers of AI revolution, and it holds the models, all the models that we develop if you want to make people to access, like Llama 3, Llama 4, Mistral, DeepSeek R1, R3. There are a lot of models, language models. Some are proprietary, some are not. So models which are not proprietary are uploaded on Hugging Face, and you can download from Hugging Face. So before I download a model from Hugging Face, I have to do some configurations. Essentially what I'm doing is, I'm running a local server on my machine, right? So
Yes, sir.
I'm running a local server from a machine, and then what I'm installing a software called Web GUI.
Web
GUI, GUI.
GUI. Okay.
Web GUI. And Web GUI either can function with Dockers. Docker is a containerization tool.
Yes,
Sorry,
sir.
this is getting a bit technical, but I'll just for the benefit of the girl, I'll just say. So you can use Web GUI, and there you can use Docker. Docker is a tool freely downloadable where we can run virtual machines. It's simple.
Okay.
It's sounding very complicated. It's not that.
But how to integrate with the database, like when we code that all the things with the based of the NLP and LLM, how to means like integrate with the OpenAI with a local machine, means like where to generate that APIs.
So when you install Web GUI, then it is able to create a server, say with a port 3000 or whatever you give, and then you download a model from Hugging Face, and that model resides in your background.
Okay.
And then you can chat like as you have chat in ChatGPT. As far as APIs are concerned, you have to design APIs. And because the APIs have to talk to between two corresponding programs. We can have a separate discussion. I think this is getting a bit technical
Okay.
for most of us.
Okay, thank you, sir.
But it is, you go to Google and search for how to install LLM on local machine. You will find at least 1,000 entries. And there's a one very famous entry at medium.com.
Vivek, I'll just come in a minute. I'll just see.
Sure. I'm taking questions, sir. Can I?
Yeah, continue.
Anyone else, please?
Sir, what are the biggest ethical challenges that government may face because of rise in AI? From the point of view of government sector.
Ethical challenges.
Yes.
Misinformation immediately comes to mind. For example, suppose you are my boss. They ask me to put a report on ODF, open defecation. And I'm asked, I might go to ChatGPT, kindly create a report on open defecation in Sultanpur. Just an example. It will give me something, I present it to you. You take it that I have done due diligence. I may not have. I have used ChatGPT. So that is one, and that is coming nowadays in our offices also, because we see a lot of artificial intelligence generated reports, including from consultants. So that is first ethical challenge. Second is misinformation, that I might present something which is not correct. And governments thrive on correct information, on safe protocols, on correct information. So that is one ethical challenge which I see normally, that there should not be any misinformation. These are two immediately coming to mind, ethical challenges. About the largest social challenges of job and employment and manpower, hiring, recruiting, training, those are separate challenges. And they are very big challenges. If everyone starts using, say, artificial intelligence, how the workforce role is going to change. Do I need managers? Do I need basic programmers? Do I need assistants? Do I need office boys, supervisors? Do I need all that? Those are some of the questions, but these answers will depend upon which sector you are looking at. If you're looking at, say, X sector, Y sector, social sector, technology, biotech, the answer will depend upon that. Right now, misinformation and incorrect information are only two things that are coming to mind.
Can it also prescribe the medicines for any disease? Yes, it can be denied.
It's like asking if you have a Google, why go to a doctor? It can prescribe you medicine. It can. But am I have reached a stage in the AI evolution where I'm going to trust ChatGPT that can give me a medicine? If there's a headache or a stomach ache, I might still trust. But if I have, say, cancer, or I have a malignant form of some other disease, I would rather go to a specialist than. I have done this experiment on some of the advices. It reaches very close to a doctor, but I would still like to go to a human doctor and consult my problems. It can prescribe you, it can do that. Maybe in 10 years down the line, you might have an AI doctor available, which are regulated by government, where adequate guardrails are built in, where hospitals are monitoring, There's a lot of feedback, what the doctors have told you, what the patients have taken, a lot of review processes. That is possible. But right now, it can do, it claims to do everything. But will I trust it? That's the question. It can prescribe medicines. Shall we try?
There are certain medicines which are allowed in India and banned in US. So what will it do?
Frame a question for me, please. What should I ask? I mentioned in India for those that doesn't prescribe me any medicines outside. I'll just enhance its. So it has prescribed you medicines.
Relying upon is depends on the individual.
Sorry?
Individual can rely upon it or not. They cannot be sued for the government.
I don't think we should rely, as far as medical prescription of medicines, I don't think we should rely because it does not know you. You may have a sulfur. Sorry?
US OTC medicines are available. Therefore, certain people are buying over-the-counter medicines.
These are over-the-counter medicines, fine. But I'm generally saying that suppose you have some serious kind of disorder, then it does not know you. You may have a reaction to sulfur, or some of people are allergic to penicillin, or some people are allergic to a particular medicine. So it doesn't know you. You might go and take it and actually fall ill. So we have to be careful. We have to exercise all that caution.
For this information, can you put in the question?
You can put in questions and you can see what output it gives you. But would I still trust it? I would not. I would like to go to a human doctor.
So why doesn't the government just ban these AIs if they're like spreading so much false information?
You seem little, but your question is very difficult. First, you did not do Kathak for us, and now you've asked a very difficult question.
She'll ask AI to do the Kathak.
She asked AI to do the Kathak. Why should government ban? Why should government not ban all AI models? It is receiving so much information. Okay. Suppose you have a car, and I'm sure you have, and you meet with an accident. So what course of action do I have? Should I ban all cars, or should I put in measures where you as a teenager drive more carefully? Should I put in mechanisms to improve the conditions of my road so that people drive safely rather than banning cars? I'm sure you would have fallen from your bicycle many times, but did your dad take away the bicycles? No, he asked you to be careful. A very similar analogy, I'm giving answer by example, not by any principle. Normally principles define examples, I'm using reverse. So if you ban all AI models, you're also killing all the good things that are coming with it. So what do? Atom bomb kills a lot of people in the world. But then we also have nuclear power plant, we have nuclear medicines. When somebody who's not able to run on a treadmill has to go for a heart checkup, they give a thallium injection to artificially induce palpitations in the heart and measure his electric rhythm. Otherwise, I would not have been able to do that. When I go for an MRI for my digestive tract, I put in a drug and then I track its movement throughout your intestine to see what is happening to your intestine. Those are the benefits. Anything can be turned into a devil. The same knife which makes a tomato sandwich can also cut somebody's neck. So we have to then put in guardrails in place. And that's why a lot of discussions are happening around the world to discuss how we can put checks. For example, recently you would have seen in Gemini, in Google's AI, that whenever it generates an image, it writes AI at the bottom, that this image is artificially generated. What they are also doing is they're also putting a lot of codes in the machines, in the images, so that any programmer can know or anybody can know by running a check that this is an AI generated images. These are getting so good day by day that tomorrow you can generate my face, put somebody's voice, my own voice, and say that I abused some and so and so and so and influenced this. I told this on this platform. So a lot of guardrails are now getting built into these systems. Banning them is easier option. That is a lazy decision. What you call as आसान था इसलिए कर दिया. बंद करो सब. कोई झंझट ही नहीं है. But for any important society like us, or any emerging society like us, or society which is so complicated, so layered, so evolved, we'll have to put in very hard learned lessons that how we can keep a check on the system and yet use it. Shruti, of you of all people?
Does AI also learn systemic biases from information that is provided? And
Oh,
then
yes.
how do you correct for that?
Oh yes, AI learns biases all the time, all the time. A famous class action suit in US where certain face recognition software was not able to identify brown faces like mine, or black faces as Jan sir usually calls me, that it's very difficult to look you in dark. Those were the biases that were introduced in AI. Because the American AI scientists only trained them on white models. And they think that the entire world looked like this. You would have seen a bias day before yesterday when Trump asked the president of Liberia, where did you learn to speak such a good English? Forgetting that English is the official language of Liberia. That's what they speak there. Bias. So it is very easy for any system to learn because it's learning from the material it has. If you give me only bad material to learn, I will only produce what I have learned. So AI itself does not have consciousness. It does not itself have a sense of a right or wrong, but it is learning from the material you have given it to him. So it will learn biases. And the example of US where it became a class action lawsuit on one of the software companies which put software in the camera for facial recognition. There it was said that in many of the cases they did not recognize a person because he was a black African American. And he got caught by the police saying that because AI identified you as such and such. And he went to the court, and there's a lot of debate on bias in AI because we as humans have bias and we have a tendency to pass on the same bias. It happens in the family also. अगर आपको कोई पड़ोसी पसंद नहीं है तो invariably आपके बच्चे को भी नहीं पसंद होता है. No, uncle ऐसे हैं, वो ऐसे करते हैं. Because we pass on these things, knowingly or unknowingly. So this is the bias we are introducing.
Any more questions or we wind up?
So I think there will be questions. I myself have about 1,000, 2,000 questions to ask to myself but I don't have answers to all the questions. None of us can have answers to all the questions. It's like you are flying a plane and at the same time building it. We don't have a clear picture. We don't know what the future is going to look like. We don't know how it is going to change. And yet, we have to navigate. It is like educating your own child. You don't know what the future is going to look like, but you still keep on moving in that direction. I thank you, all of you, for your patience. This is a difficult topic and complicated topic where everyone's talking about it. And thank you for your patience to sit here and listen to me. And I really appreciate your hospitality and your warmth. Thank you very much. God bless you and God bless CEL. Thank you.
What we have heard is not just merely a lecture, it was a master class. Tripathi sir has taken us on a profound journey through time, thought, and technology, helping us to reflect on the evolution of intelligence and what it means for a collective future. On behalf of CL and everyone present here, I extend our sincere thanks and deep appreciation to Tripathi sir for his time, his insights, and above all, for the warmth with which he has delivered them. Thank you, sir, for being here with us. Thank you so much. Before we formally conclude today's session, I would request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem. I request our guests to kindly proceed for the lunch and all the CCM members as well.